Hello, hello, hello. It is another Thursday evening. Yes, believe it or not, guys, it is another Thursday. And of course, we are back in the Athletes Corner. We're back here tonight with another Olympian, two-time Olympian. Look here, this man wears a lot of hats. He's an Olympian. The man was a police officer, a veteran in the Army, and also in the U.S. Navy, not the US Navy, but the US Air Force. And we have a lot to talk about tonight. And we are going to keep it very short and spicy tonight. So, guys, welcome to another Thursday night. And of course, we look forward to sharing with you. And remember, come on over to YouTube where I can see your comments and read them. And wherever in the world you're tuning in from, welcome, whether it is Africa, Europe, North America, South America, Antarctica, Asia, Oceanic, wherever you're tuning in from, welcome to another night of HP Chat Track. And of course, we're going to talk about everything track and field. I am your girl, HP, and I will be leading the charge as usual tonight. So, welcome. So, guys, stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Your girl HP is on her mark, so get set ready.
On your mark, set, go.
Oh yeah, make we chat about it. What if I said make we chat about it? Or on left, make we chat about it. Check and feel at the topic. Oh, make we chat about it. Latest news, make we chat about it. All your views, make we chat about it.
Track and feel chat for set. With your girl HP.
And of course, we are back with you. And my guest is in the house tonight, none other than former St. Jago. He is a former St. Jago standout. And with me tonight is Mr. Gregory MEGHOO. Greg MEGHOO. Welcome to HP Chat Track, Greg. How are you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, nice. Thanks for having me, man. I'm here to chat with you
Of course.
here and take it from there.
Okay, awesome, awesome, guys. So, welcome already. We have Vonnie M, who is Ivan Saunders, Olympian for Jamaica and Canada. We also have Monica Lewis. Welcome, guys. And if you're on Facebook, welcome also. Remember, I cannot see your comments on Facebook. So, come on over to YouTube and let us chat and read your comments. Greg MEGHOO, you are one of Jamaica's what you would call gems. You are one of Jamaica's Olympians. But before we even get to all of that, just tell us a little bit about where you were born, where you grew up, and what it was like in your community.
Well, I was born in Spanish Town, of course. Big up to the Spanish Town crew. Spanish Town Hospital, of course. Grew up mostly in the beginning stages of Brunswick Avenue, a place called Chester Avenue, where all the family was grew up, brothers and sisters. Frankel Drive. Um, Been there for a few years. Went to Crescent All School. You know it. Um, Eventually, my father was at Alcan. I think now it's owned by somebody else now, Windalco or something like that. But he moved up to Yorton, where eventually all of us moved, and then went to Yorton Primary, and then from that point we went from Yorton Primary. Then I didn't go from Yorton Primary straight to St. Jago. I went back to another all school, and in between that, St. Jago contacted me, the coach who was there, Jimmy Grant. I don't know if you ever heard of
Where were
Jimmy.
you? Where were you discovered?
I was at Rosemont All School in Linstead, in the Linstead area. And my brother was already at St. Jago. My brother is my big brother, Robert MEGHOO. And
Mm-hmm.
he was already, dusting up the track there already and everything. So, of course, Jimmy Grant was there and he was a coach. And they were still trying to recruit talent, and they heard that Robert MEGHOO has a younger brother named Gregory MEGHOO who's at Rosemont College. And to go back a little further, I was already competing at Yorktown Primary too, so they knew that I had a little talent. But then they were like, "All right, let's see if we can get him into San Diego." And push come to shove, and we talked to the school officials, the principals, and next thing you know, I was entering first farm at San Diego from Rosemont Halley School. So
An Olympian was born.
yeah, after many years, after some development and some hard work and training and determination, you
and
know.
that's fine, and that's fine. What they say, what they call it? What's the phrase that Saint Jago use? Monk Street is not what Punk Street.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they call it. No, that's probably like a current phrase
Yes,
they use. It. I
yes,
don't.
it's a phrase that they use. Not
Yeah,
Punk Street, Monk Street.
we're always like Monk Street. For me, it was like the Monk Street massive, Monk
Yeah.
Street crew. St. Jago High School, Monk Street. But now them younger Jagoites now, them probably have them, more updated modern, phrases that they're using now. So,
San
every
Diego, San Diego is one of the most popular schools right now in
oh
track and
yeah,
field. San Diego is doing well all around, and good night to all the San Diego massive and thing.
yeah
But
man.
San Diego is one of those schools that are doing well, sports wise, academic wise. I
Yeah,
mean, they are now ruling school challenge quiz. It
yeah,
is
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
What was it like for you though, attending St. Jago back in the 80s?
Um it was a new thing for me coming from all age school. Of course, the adjustment was a little easier because I had friends and neighborhood friends that was already there. They were senior to me though. My brother was there, which was a big help.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I had to get adjusted to the San Diego atmosphere and climate. And it didn't take long because, so many friends and, like I said, my brother was there, was easy to
Mm-hmm.
adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And then, being on the track team so early from class 3 stages, never really competed in class 4. Because by the time I came in, I was already at the class 3 stage, but I was on the team and already making friends, and moving just with the track with the fellow track mates and just moving along, and just seeing where the track and field could take me at that point, where we start to train hard and develop and see where I could fit in as far as what's going to be my best event at San Diego while trying to, of course, do the academics and all that. So
So let me ask you something. At what point, while you were on at St. Jago, did you have any big dreams for track and field, or you were just doing it because it's sports day and you just do it to pass time?
I was just doing it for the love of running. I mean, I was always running from Yorktown Primary School. It wasn't a normal thing, when people taking taxi to go home or taking school bus. I was running from Yorktown Primary School to a place called Orangefield Village where I live and grew up most of my life until I migrated on scholarship. So I was always running, competing at Yorktown Primary School, where incidentally my first coach was a female teacher, Mrs. Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I was at the Harley School in Linstead, Rosemont Harley School. Them at sports day, I was running. I didn't know where it was going to take me, not until I was contacted to attend St. Diego to see if they can let me be a part of that program because of my talent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like Jimmy Grant was there, and incidentally, Jimmy Grant is also a cousin of mine.
Okay,
And he's a
cool.
former athlete himself. He was a Kingston College man, of course, but he was
Fortis.
coach. Yes, he was coaching at St. Diego at the time, and like I said, it was like a family affair. My brother was there. The coach was my cousin. A lot of people didn't know it at the time till maybe later on. Maybe a few people because of my brother. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have
Mm-hmm.
no aspiration. I was immediately thinking, yes, the Olympics is my goal. I was just like, wherever it leads, it leads.
San Diego is the most successful co-ed champ school. I don't know, and I would love for you to tell me the secret, because we have so many co-ed school where the girl team seem to do so much better, but the boys team don't seem to can get it together. What was the secret at St. Jago? St. Jago won four girls title back to back to back, and they won two boys title, becoming the most successful co-ed champ school. What was the secret at Monk Street?
Well, I have to go before that stage,
Indeed,
before they
indeed.
became co-ed.
Yeah.
They were not co-ed when I was there.
Hold on. They were not co-ed
No, not
when
when
you
I
were
was
there?
there. No,
Oh,
they
I
weren't
never
co-ed
know
yet.
that. I never
Maybe
know
I
that.
think shortly after they started going co-ed, maybe like 2-3 years after I left, they were co-ed.
So
So
St. Jago was an all boys school?
no. I think I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about champs, like
Oh,
when they,
okay, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Oh yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're talking about being a co-ed school,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the secret is that we challenge each other. The boys and the girls.
And the girls.
We just come together and we always have you know challenge each other and try to make sure we seek the best from each other, and we try to help each other when we can while I was there. But if you're talking about on the sports side of it,
Mm-hmm.
that's the academic side. In the classroom, we're trying to make sure, all right, we stay ahead of the
Yeah.
game, make
Yeah.
sure you
Mm-hmm.
have your academics. If it's not a big part of your life, make sure you get something out of it, because we don't know where the track and field is going to lead. And then
Because
the track and field, no, we
yeah,
work hard together as a team. The
yeah.
girls and the boys kind of work out together. I think no, they kind of separate. The girls have their own coach now and they do their own thing, and the guys have their own coach and they do
Mm-hmm.
their own thing. But back
It,
then, I was working out the girls and the guys, especially class three. You might be a class three athlete working out with a young lady from class two. You might actually run with that class two athlete or class one athlete.
it
Like first year class one.
It is amazing, and it's something that I continue to look at. How is it that St. Jago is able to get a boys team into boys champs and a girls team into girls champs, and not just getting a team, but competitively? St. Jago is both among the boys and among the girls. And when I look at other school program, I've asked a lot of people, how is it that other co-ed schools cannot get that balance where both your teams are competitive? Another school that has done good at it is Excelsior, has able to
Hmm.
have a competitive girls team in girls champs and a competitive team in boys champs. But at St. Jago, you were teammates with people like whether you were ahead or behind, people like Bert Cameron, people like Rudolph, um, Briscoe, and your brother, as you said, Robert MEGHOO, who I think is, and also Mark Elliott, who was once Jamaica's national record holder of the 10,000 meter. What
Right.
was it like being teammates with those gentlemen?
It was nice, man. We're all like family. We all wanted the best. We train together, we laugh together, we eat together, and we push each other. Always encouraging each other. And what I like about it was the brotherhood. As far as
Yeah.
the guys coming together. And
Hmm.
we had a sisterhood too, because we were always looking out for the girls too and want the best from the girls and push them and encourage them. But everything was like a brotherhood, sisterhood, because like back then the girls and the guys trained together, you know. And yeah, of course the girls would go off and do their own little workouts eventually. But like,
Hmm.
we would still warm up and stretch together and then get off into a routine. But what I enjoyed most was the brotherhood. And you can't beat that, because when you have that brotherhood,
Yeah.
you're gonna want the best and make sure that you're successful with what you do. So that was a big part of it.
Who was your biggest rival at Boys Champs? Who was the biggest challenge to you during your time at Boys Champs?
Well, my biggest challenge came at class one with maybe it was my second year class two going into class one, but then Raymond Stewart was my biggest rival, and both of us would go at it. We'd meet up in a lot of meets, development meets, and we'd run against each other. Sometimes he wins, sometimes I win, and we became top rivalry. And
Wow.
he's the one I mostly remember. There was a couple other guys, John Mayer from
Yes.
GSC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of them were senior guys. When I finally made to the senior level, you're talking about oh shoot, I forgot his name. He was a
It's
200-meter specialist.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Raymond Stewart as one of your biggest rivals at champs, because Raymond also became your teammate that you won that historic silver medal with at the Olympic Games, which we will get into a little
Okay.
bit more. But before we go there, let us just read some comments. Of course, we have J Jar who is in the house, and she is saying Monk Street and a Punk Street. So she is a former athlete herself and
Okay.
former standout from St. Jago High School. St. Jago is a big deal. It's all about St. Jago, St. Catherine tonight. Of course, we have Rymar's Track Club in the building, and
Oh, all right.
he's saying good night, HP and Mr. Greg. So
Yeah,
your
man.
new name is Mr. Greg. He's saying that I know those schools and those places. My dad lives in Yuatan. So big up to all the people
Yeah, man.
in
Big up to the
Yuatan.
Yotan Massive.
Yes. Another Olympian that just joined us is the great one, Ethelyn Tate, formerly of Very Technical. And
Oh, yeah.
yes, and she's saying good evening. And she's saying, hey Greg, good to see you. Also, we have Vivian Morano, who was Vivian Spence when she competed for Jamaica at the Olympic Games, also formerly of Very Technical. She is saying, good evening, everyone. Good to see you
Evening,
after all
evening.
these years, Greg. So,
Yes,
Greg,
all these years.
yes, your teammates from the 1984-1988 team, they're saying it's good to see you. Dorothy Scott Genius is also here. She's saying, hello, everyone. Hey, MEGHOO, how are you? It's been a while. You are
It's been a
popular.
long, long time.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome. Olympian reunion tonight right here. And
Definitely. We have a few Olympians in the
oh
house.
yes, they're always here. They are always here. Listen, they are here every Thursday night from January to date. Thank
Wow.
you very much, all everyone who are here tonight. Let us fast forward now to your collegiate journey, the collegiate journey of your story.
Mhm.
Abilene Christian University. That name keep coming up from last week. Tell me a little bit about your transition from St. Jago to Abilene University. Of course, you've had teammates there who was also a part of that historic team.
Yeah.
Al Lawrence. Al, if you're watching, good night, sir.
Yes, think Abilene was really not on the top of my list yet. I was getting recruited by different schools at the time. University of Texas, University of Idaho, a couple of other universities that showed interest, but I didn't look at Abilene until the '84 Olympic trials in Jamaica, when I started talking to Albert and a couple other guys from Abilene that came for the US trial, not US trial, but the Jamaica trial. Ladrick Trusty, of course, people like Peter Green from Abilene was also there. He's a Calabar man. And I talked to them, end up talking to Coach Hood, and he indicates that he's very much interested in having me as part of his Abilene family and the track team. So I looked into it, and it was a Division II school. But
Mm-hmm.
what helped was that there were a few Jamaicans were already there, and me leaving Jamaica, wanted to go somewhere else where I have some connection with some fellow countrymen that was already there that could guide me and help me along. So it's not such a stressful start to the process, you know what I'm saying? To ease me into the American process, the collegiate scene. And that helped me make my choice to attend Abilene Christian University because of that. Because the other schools, I didn't have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
University of Idaho was too far and too cold. I didn't want to be in all that. University of Texas, I kind of looked at it, but it didn't really. I didn't follow up with them as much. I guess because by that time now at the trials in Jamaica, I'm talking to Albert and I like the vibe with them and another guy from Abilene, Ladrick Trusty. And I was like, if you guys are there and willing to kind of help me along the process, hey, by all means, let me go and be a part of that team. And that's what got me to start there, the Division 2 school.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Albert Al Lawrence was like a big brother during that time, you being a junior.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he became like a big brother. All those guys that were already there, they were already senior guys doing their thing, winning
I
championships before I got there. They were tearing up the track already. So I was ready to become part of that to see where it takes me.
I like this kind of thing. I like to see support, and I always say the generation before is supposed to look after the ones who are coming,
Right.
and and this is just awesome stuff. And Albert, if you're watching, big up
Yeah,
to
man.
you, and looking out for Greg as the junior coming in, and we want more of this. More of this is
Yeah, I
needed
mean,
to.
that's a big thing. It helps with the adjustments because sometimes if
Yes.
you don't have someone to look out for you or anybody that you
Mhm.
can genuinely trust, it can be a
Yeah.
harder transition coming from Jamaica to the US in college, where it's a
Yes,
whole
trust
different
me, I know.
environment.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It can be very lonely and get sad, and
Yeah,
so
you're
trust
away from
me.
your family, you're away
Yes.
from the usual support factor,
Mm-hmm.
your friends and brothers and sisters in a strange land,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
among people different from you with a different culture. So it always helps when you have similar cultures there, or even better yet, when you have fellow Jamaicans that are there. So,
yeah.
and that was a big
Indeed.
plus. It helped me adjust.
Indeed, indeed. Studying and doing sports in a foreign country at a higher level, how different was it for you than studying and playing sport at St. Jago?
Um, they were very big on the academics to maintain your,
Mm-hmm.
your, your, your academics, because without your academics, you can't compete. You have
Yeah.
to maintain academic eligibility with
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of a 2.0. But as far as most Jamaicans try to maintain higher scores than that. And
Yes.
so if you don't do that, you can lose your
You're out.
scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can stop. If you get injured, they can kind of work with you. You can redshirt, but you still got to maintain the academics. So that I didn't have to maintain academics to compete at St. Diego at the time. I don't know what they do now, but
Mm-hmm.
when I was there, you could still be kind of struggling a little bit with some subjects, but you can still compete. But once I got that scholarship and they sat down and they tell you, look, we're gonna give you the scholarship, but you also got to maintain passing grades. And you got to maintain at the time 12 credit hours.
Mm-hmm.
That was the
Yes.
minimum you can take. Some students are what they call student athletes, might
Mm-hmm.
take more than 12. They might take 16 credit hours and maintain passing grades and all that. I started off just taking 12 credit hours and tried to ease myself into their academic process, because it was
Yes.
still different coming from Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
where the curriculum is more advanced, and you got to quickly get on in gear, so to speak, and adjust that with your training, and have
Mm-hmm.
what I want to say, that student athlete balance.
That must be tough, to balance both, because here you are, you need your academics, you need your GPA to maintain your scholarship. And in order to maintain that GPA, you have to maintain being an athlete at a certain level to keep that scholarship. It must be tough, man.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's the first lesson I've learned, to be tough, balancing,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what you want, and
Yeah.
knowing that, hey, it's almost like a job, because you can have the academics, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow your performance drop off and you still face
Yes.
with the same challenge. Okay, you're not performing up to par, you're not hitting the qualifying times. The coach could send you home.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yes.
so
I've
you will
I've heard that.
always have that pressure in the back of your head. You know, I didn't make it put so much pressure on me because I was confident in my skills at the time. I knew I was one of the better athletes could do that. I would say the academics was the more challenging part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to maintain that while doing all this traveling and you're tired, and when you come back from a track meet, you gotta, make sure you
Hit the
complete all your
books.
assignment. You know,
Wow.
and sometimes the coach have you, as soon as you come back, he wants you to jog, pull ups around the track, stretch out a little bit, because sometimes we drive far. We might
Mm-hmm.
drive
Mm-hmm.
8 hours drive to a track meet. You know, and
Wow.
then you only have that Sunday, the rest of the evening to relax.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Monday morning, you might have a class at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you're tired, but you got to make sure you complete all your assignments, right? Get passing grades, so you don't have to worry about the coach, riding your back, going, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting some," seeing that you're not doing so well academically. You got to keep that up.
Wow.
They will take that scholarship.
I
And so that's why
know.
I want the young people to know they still have that same challenge today. You got to make sure you have that academics, because if the track and field don't work out, you have the academics at
Yeah.
least.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Before we go any further, a special good night to Donette Lawrence, the wife of Olympian Al Lawrence. She's here tonight hanging
Oh,
out
all
with us.
right.
And she's
Mrs.
saying,
Lawrence. All right.
yes, Mrs. Lawrence is here and she's saying, good night. Greg, from what I heard from Al last week, Al Lawrence last week, it seemed
Mhm.
to me like you guys had a nice little Caribbean community at Abilene. You guys have a nice little family, not just with Jamaicans, but you guys had batchmates from the Bahamas and other part of the country. What was it like though with that little community, not just Jamaicans, but other people from the Caribbean?
Yeah, man, we form our own look at international community. I mean, you had Bahamas, you got Kenya, you got South Africa, you got people from Botswana, from Venezuela, from Mexico, or like my Mexican roommate would say, Mexico.
Yeah.
Um, you name it. Not to mention my fellow Jamaicans, Bermudans. We had some Canadians that were there, they're Canadian Jamaicans, but they were
Hmm.
at the school also on scholarship. So we
Wow.
always come together, have we look at cookouts and all that, and share, togetherness and struggles, and encourage each other. And some of them, like
Hmm.
I said, were senior people. So me coming in and other people coming in that were young, they serve as a guide, and to uplift you. And it made life a little easier, because trust me, when you're there and you don't know anybody and you don't have no one to share the similarities with, especially the culture, and then you're trying to adjust to a new culture, it can be tough. And trust me, some people don't make it. Some people cannot
Yes.
adjust and they end up going right back home, because it's
Yes.
just tough.
Yes, yes. I've heard some of those stories where some people, I remember Al was saying last week that the first day he touched down, he wanted to go back home.
Oh, I
You
can
know.
relate. I can relate. If you let me, when I first came to Abilene, I did not like the United States, to be honest with you. I was in Texas. Abilene is in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Christian university, so they always people there reaching out, trying to encourage you and be nice to you and all that, support you, because they know we come from the Caribbean region and all that, and,
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica, and they know some of us are Jamaicans, but I was just not liking it. That support that I had in Jamaica, it was just totally different. I miss that support from Jamaica. Authentic.
Yeah.
People that you can count on, that they genuinely care for you. I did not feel I had that. Even though there were some Jamaicans there, they seemed like they had already assimilated, and I was having a hard time, still thinking, I don't know if I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know. And so I went home in December. Yeah, and that was right after the Olympics, because I went to Abilene straight after the Olympics was over in '84. And in
Wow.
December, I went home and I got home and I told my family, man, I don't want to come back to the States. I don't like it. And of course, they were like, no, you need to go on. They're paying for your college degree, and you never know where the athletics, it could lead to, and open up more avenues and that kind of thing. So of course, I thought long and hard, and back then too, I had a little girlfriend and all that. So, I didn't want to leave her behind back then, those days. So, but the biggest thing was the authenticity of
Yeah.
being in your country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where you're familiar with everything,
Yes.
the
Believe
ins and
me,
outs.
I know exactly what you're talking about, down to the T. I know what you're talking about. But guess what? For you, the powers of a woman, you see how powerful women are? The power.
Yeah, because I went back. That was part of the reason why I didn't want to lose that relationship either. But we end up it didn't work out after a while.
Yeah.
So, and I
Hmm.
came back to college and continued on with my college career. So,
Man, I love to hear these stories. I When I hear these stories, I just smile. I love to hear these stories. Before we go any further though, let us just say good night to another Olympian just walk in the room. I don't
uh,
know if you know this Olympian, but this is Lilith Hodges.
oh yeah, yeah,
Formerly, oh, you
yeah.
know the name Lilith.
I
Okay,
know the
Lilith.
name. Yes, yes,
Yes, Lilith Hodges, formerly of St. Mary High School, that
yes,
school in the East that won Girls Champs
yeah, man. I used to
twice.
hear that name a lot growing up.
Yes, man. Yeah, she is one of the pioneers. She's one of those that have gone out and made Jamaica proud. So, welcome to you, Auntie Lilith Hodges. I call
Yes,
all of them Auntina. They're all my aunties.
yeah,
And of course, we have another outstanding former athlete here, formerly of Titchfield, that has won Girls Champs twice. Miss Regina Montague, formerly of Titchfield High
it's
School.
feel all right.
Yes, man, in the East.
Yes,
Portland.
yes,
Teachfield in Portland. She is also here. They're all here tonight. And
nice.
guess who is here? My new friends from the Bahamas. They are here. Maya Strawn
Oh,
is
Moya.
here. Yes, she's here. She was here last week,
Yeah,
and she's saying, "Big up, Greg Megu. Always proud to
yeah,
say I
man.
was at ACU with Megu, Olympian, great friend and a brother. Awesome."
Yeah, man. Maya's. I think you heard a little bit from Albert, but Maya, they had a house, so they already had the setup, and we just go to her house. And it was her and another person. I think her name was Kermat. I think that they shared. Their roommates, but we'll always go there and hang out. It was our favorite spot to go and hang out. That was off the
Wow.
campus too. So it was
Wow.
nice. They looked out
Wow.
for us, man.
Wow.
Our fellow
Maya, thank
Caribbean sisters.
yes. Maya, thank you very much. This is Maya Strawn from the Bahamas. Thank you
Big up,
very much.
Maya. Big up.
Big up yourself, Maya. Thank you very much for looking out for these great Jamaican men. These Jamaican men who went on to make Jamaica proud, winning Jamaica's first sprint relay medal at the Olympic Games in 1984. Of course, we're going to talk about that shortly. Coming back to you now, Greg, what was it like? I've always heard that our trials is very tough. What was your first Olympic, our first team trials like in Kingston, Jamaica, when you had to come back for the trials, or if you were in Jamaica already? What was it like for you?
Well,
Was
for
it
the
tough?
Olympic trials, I was still at high school.
High school? Yes.
Yeah, so I was still at Jiggle on my way out. I was so focused on getting the Olympic experience. And to be honest with you, I did not expect to make the Olympic team. I went there for the experience to see what it was like. Because as a young boy, I was watching, you watch all the documentary with Herb McKinley and Arthur Winton, George Roden, you name it, the Dennis Johnsons and the Donald Quarry, can't leave him out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so, those guys were like heroes to me, like, man, maybe one day I could be like these guys. But I know I have to start somewhere first. So I said, well, the Olympics is coming up. I had that pretty successful senior season at the high school level. And I was like, why not? I know I'm in high school. I don't think too many high school, athletes used to gravitate to the senior trials like that back in those days. I think Quarry might have been the only high school guys back then, before my time, that was the only high school guy that competed and made a Jamaica team back then. But I think he got
Well,
injured.
Al was actually on his way out of their
Oh
technical
yeah, that's right. And yeah,
yeah,
Albert before me. Yeah.
when
So
he made
yeah,
the 1980 team. Yeah, he was a
right.
schoolboy
So, but
too.
it's not that many still. If you look at
Yeah,
it, even with Albert, you can count them on your finger.
yeah.
So
You had more female than the
yeah.
male. Yeah. Hmm.
So to me, I just went for the experience, and I didn't know if I would make it, but once I made it through the heats and then I got to the semifinals and I was like, well, I'll see how it go. And of course, we had Albert in the race and all the other guys from the United States. And first of all, let me go back a little bit. When you're looking at everybody qualification, and in high school, I might have done no better than 10-3 or 10-4 at the time. Those are like, top times back then.
Mhm, mhm.
And I looked at the collegiate guys' time, and I'm like, good Lord, I'm going to make this team because these guys are running 10-1 and 10 zeros. And I said, well, all I can do is go out there and give him all and see what happens. It's an experience.
Yes,
But
sir.
I end up in the final with all the top notch, and it was not just me, but two high school boys, me from San Diego and Raymond Stewart from Camperdown.
Yes.
And believe it or not, Raymond Stewart won that race. I got third, and a guy named Augustus Young, I think he went to North Carolina at the time, got
Yes, he's also an Olympian.
yeah, he
Yes.
got second, and I got third. Albert got fourth.
The
Believe it
relay
or not.
team. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a shocker. That was
Mhm.
a shocker. And I don't think I had too many people rooting for me except my family and the coach. Jimmy, I
Because
remember
you're
Jimmy
a
Grant.
junior. You're a junior. Who would be rooting for a junior at the Olympic trials? You're a
Exactly. Not
kid.
too many people expect much. I don't know
Mhm.
what it was like for Stuart, what the expectation was. He had Glenn Mills as his coach, who was the famous coach for
Yes.
with
Mhm.
with Usain Bolt. And but I remember when Jimmy Grant after I finished, it was a tight race, It was like the times weren't exactly fast. But when you look at that photo finish, all of us was like lined up.
I would
And
love to see that race, but I'm sure it's not on tape.
nah, I doubt it.
And this was like 1984.
84, you might can find an old newspaper clipping if you're lucky. There was newspaper clipping of the finish. And I saw myself there leaning to get that third. I was like, man, I'm gonna go for this thing. I mean, the final, I'm just gonna blast out and do whatever. I mean, I just got up and run. I wasn't doing nothing like drive phase and race. I didn't have no race plan, but I'm just gonna come up and just run. I think I jumped up out of the blocks and just kept running.
Wow.
But I got third.
Awesome. And you were on the plane to LA.
Yeah,
1984 was LA, right?
yeah, I got totally engulfed with the Olympics after that, and to the point where I didn't even make it to my high school graduation. I was in
Wow.
the training camps.
It was all about the Olympic Games, of course.
Yeah, yeah, because
Well,
it was
I
game
remember,
on after that.
listen, man, I remember Debbie Byfield in her interview on this channel. Debbie said she was in training and she had to just put on a gown and run into the arena for graduation, remove that gown and get back into training because she was in camp.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, she was
Amazing.
good then. Yeah, yeah. She was dedicated. She wanted to make sure she gonna get that,
Yes.
that graduation. 'Cause it's a special moment. But
Yes.
I didn't have the time. I didn't make it. I guess I could have, but it was
Mhm.
intense. And it was my first Olympics. So I wanted to make sure
Get
I'm with
everything
the
right.
team. So I was willing to
Wow.
sacrifice that because that was a big moment for me. So I
So
sacrificed the graduation and for training camp. So
so before you made that team 1984 when you came to the tribe,
hmm.
before that, when did you have your Olympic dream?
um,
At what point? Can you remember at what stage in your junior career?
probably I probably thought about it like when I was starting to watch like the Bertland Camerons, the senior guys and all that prior to that time. 83, I actually made the 83 World Championship
World
team,
championship team, yeah.
but I did not compete.
Okay.
I was injured, but then for some reason somebody must have liked me and the coaching staff and thought it would have been a good experience for me to go and see what it was like at the
Mhm.
World Championships in Helsinki. So they
Yes,
took me
Helsinki.
along to my surprise.
So
And
do you remember where you finished at the trials, at that trials?
you know what? I can't remember. Maybe it was, to be honest, without looking at the result, I know I'd made the team. It might have been fourth place, fifth
Okay.
place. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody would probably correct and say, no, MEGHOO, you were probably sixth or whatever. But I don't remember the results. But I do remember 84. So, I can't forget 84, because that was against the odds. I remember, I think it was Herb McKendy. that came up to me and said, "Man, you surprised me. I counted you out. You know, I did not think you would make the final or even place in the top threes. You know." And he congratulated me because
At least he was honest enough to say that.
yeah, yeah, man. He was, you know, they had their guys. Remember, it was college heavy, you know,
Yeah.
and two high school guys took out the college guys. You know what I'm saying? Except for one that came third.
Yeah.
Albert came fourth. And so that became the official team. Well, what's his name? Started to have a drop-off performance. The guy that actually got second, Augustus Young. So he ended
Mhm.
up being replaced with Donald Quarry, which run a
Listen,
magnificent third leg, as I'm sure you heard when Albert
yes,
described it.
right. Listen, man, I tell you, our trials, our Olympic or World Championship trials, you have to go there as fans, even as athletes, you have to go there with a strong heart because let me tell you, the upsets always come. I've seen some upsets at our trials that I tell
Oh
you
yeah,
break your heart, because you're expecting one person to finish there and then that person finish out of the top three and you're like, wow,
yeah, yeah,
school girl. I remember Veronica Campbell Brown at the Sydney Olympic trials in Kingston as a
mm,
schoolgirl,
yeah,
finish in the top four.
exactly. The upset didn't just stop with me; it continued on.
No, it listen, the upset continues even this year at the Olympic trials in Kingston.
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah, what's her name? The young lady. I get them mixed up. This was
Tia,
Tia,
Tia
Tia
Clayton.
Clayton.
Tia
Yeah,
Clayton. Yes,
yes,
yes. And I mean Shelley and Fraser Price did it 2008.
yes. I heard her story too. I saw her story on the internet.
Yes, Shelley Ann did it 2008, finishing second.
Yes.
She nobody knew anything about her and she just came and second.
Yeah, you just got to believe in yourself, you know. They
Yes,
might have gone for
yes,
the experience like I
yes,
did too. But then
yes,
once you make it to the final, it's kind of like, wait, I made it this far. I'm
yes.
gonna give this a shot.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, they're making it
Yes.
against the odds. And then from then
Oh,
on, they carried on into the future and have
yeah.
a lot of successes.
Our trials not normal, especially in an Olympic year or a World Championship year. You better come with that A game and put
Yeah.
everything out there
If you
because
don't, man, you get left.
yeah,
You
man,
won't make that team.
you won't make that team. You would not even make the top five or the top six
No.
in that event. But going back to that 1984 Olympics, of course, Jamaica created history there. Describe to me you ran in all the rounds.
Yeah,
Back
that's
then
correct.
they had three rounds and you ran in all rounds, right?
That's correct.
You ran in the heats, the a matter of fact,
Semi-final.
the semi-final, and you ran in the final. Walk me through in that relay. Did you run the same leg in all three rounds?
I run that same tough second leg, which is the one of the longest leg in the relay. And I was, tasked with that job because the second leg is not a joke leg, it's I
Yes.
think to this day it is the longest leg on the relay. So you got to run that back stretch.
But
Win or lose it at the back stretch. I mean, everybody got to do the part, but that back stretch you can't falter. You know what I'm
But
saying?
something I keep saying, it is a 4 by 100 meters. Everybody get 100-meter to run. How is it that the backstretch become the longest leg?
I don't know. It's probably because of the staggers for some reason. Because if you notice when guys are running the ankle leg, you hear them running some out of this world times because of
Yeah,
the stagger. Depends on where you get it in the box. And for
yeah,
some reason, the back stretch is, I guess, based on the stagger because the first leg stagger is a little bit shorter.
yeah,
And then the back stretch, for some reason, the way the
yeah,
stagger is set up, you run a little bit longer leg. I
yeah.
guess you could shorten it based on how you take the baton.
Yes, how you use the zone, if you use a
Right,
short
exactly.
zone or if you use a long zone. But
Exactly.
before we go any further, let us just say welcome to Daniel England. Daniel England
Oh, yeah,
is,
yeah, I remember that name.
yes, outstanding
Yeah.
from Calabar. Of course, he was discovered by the great Mr. Herb McKinley. He is here. He's saying, "Greetings, gentle folks. Enough respect to the legendary MEGHOO."
Yes, man.
Osman,
Big up to Danny. Ning. I know he was one of the greats. I was
yes,
following him while I was in the States, doing my thing. But
yeah.
I remember I heard a lot about this young man that he's the next best thing.
Yes, yes, he was awesome in high school. And of course, we have Osman Dixon here, my good friend and co host sometime. He's saying Norman Edwards, aka King Frog, and formerly of KC and Georgia Tech, ran the 100 meters at that
Yes,
Olympic.
yes. Norman Edwards. Yes, yes. He sure was. Yes.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for that, Ozzy Dixon. You see, this is why I love my audience. They are well knowledgeable. Of course, in the building, we have another Olympian. Albert Lawrence has
Oh,
just
Albert
joined.
made it. All right.
Yes, he's here. He's saying, Greg, much love and respect, my little brother. If I never tell you before, really, what I want you to thanks for being a friend and a brother and a teammate. Big up,
Yeah, man. Same to man. Same.
big
It's
up, big
always
up.
good to maintain that brotherhood. We can touch base with each other from time to time.
Indeed,
Because
indeed.
sometimes we just call each other. Even if we haven't talked for weeks, we just call each other just to check on each other from time to time.
Indeed, indeed. And I want to also thank Albert Lawrence for giving me that link with you. It was Albert, thank you. And Roman Stewart, welcome, welcome, welcome. Going back to 1984, walk me through that relay. Did you have a silver medal on your mind? Before we even get there, Jamaica won, and I asked Albert this question last week. Jamaica won all three rounds of the relay, went into the final with the second fastest time. How did Jamaica get lane one? What were your thoughts when you discovered that Jamaica will be in lane one in the final?
They were looking out for the best interests of Carl Lewis and his team. 'Cause we became a threat. When them see the Jamaica winning their rounds, of course they get nervous. And then we're doing it with two high schoolers on the team.
Yeah.
One collegiate guy, Albert Lawrence, the veteran and gold medalist, Donald Quarry, who's till this day is probably one of the best turn runners Jamaica has ever had.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so they were scared. So obviously, being that it's hosted in the United States and the so-called computer random pick, whatever,
Yes.
just didn't work in our
There's
favor.
no way. There's no way the computer should have picked lane one for a team that won all for a team that won their heats and semifinal and going in with the second fastest time. That is not adding up. That is not making any sense. Somebody please make it make sense.
It don't make sense, but that's what the word was. I was able to catch part of Albert interview, and when he brought that up to it, I didn't even remember that until he said it. Because I remember competing, looking back now that we're talking about it, like I kept wondering why we keep getting lane one. We always seen that we won the heats every time. We won the heats, won the semifinal. We're thinking we're gonna get lane five, maybe lane six at least. I know worse than maybe lane three or something like that.
Lane four, five, or
Or
six.
even lane four. But we assume. For me, I can't speak for the rest of the guys, but I assume no matter what, the US was gonna get lane four. But I think US, correct me if I'm wrong, Albert, but I think US was in lane five or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And we were back in lane one again. They didn't want us too close to put the pressure on them.
Boy, that don't make any sense. It
Yeah.
just not adding up. There's no way the second fastest team in a relay going into a final should get the inner or the outer lane. It not making any sense
No,
to
they're
me.
usually somewhere in the middle. The top
Yeah,
teams are usually closer in the
yeah,
middle.
the top teams or top athletes normally get in the middle.
They were scared, man. They were scared. Of course, they made sure if I was to be so bold, they made sure that we are nowhere near the United States, and we end up still getting second. Imagine if
Yeah,
we're in lane
close
even
to
three,
them. Yeah.
our lane are right behind US. Then we might have got them so scared they would have dropped the stick.
You on that relay, you were on the second leg as a schoolboy, Raymond Stewart as a schoolboy on the anchor leg. When that gun went off and you saw Albert coming with that baton, what was going through your mind?
All I could think is, man, Albert coming like a truck. Because I know Albert had said it last interview, because I watched part of it. He thought I got out a little bit too slow in the heats. So when I saw him coming like a truck again, because he already said, man, just get out, man. When you see me coming, just get out. I'm going to get you the stick. And I got out and I was like, I hope I don't get out too early with all that talk. But I got out and the man caught me and I did my job. I ran that second leg because I know a lot was to be honest with you, the pressure was on me.
Yeah.
I was nervous. There were people that probably didn't think that I had the
Had it in you.
experience to handle that kind of pressure. So I knew I had a lot to prove. So I went out there and run my heart out on that second leg. Any energy I could find,
Yes.
turning over, you name it. I was just focused. You see, you talk about blinders on. I
Yes.
can't even. I didn't see nobody in the lanes outside of me, to be honest with you. I was just looking at Quarry waiting on me. And Quarry took out. And I had to run and catch up with Quarry and stick. And I gave that stick to Quarry, man. I knew we were in the game.
Yes.
When I see Quarry started eating up that curve, I was like, man, we have a chance. At that point, I even thought we could probably get goals. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, the US are still a little bit, in the lead. And
Yeah.
Carl Lewis took it
Carl
out there,
Lewis.
and Raymond followed him for second. Canada tried to give a challenge, but they couldn't catch us, man. Out of lane one. To me, that was one of the best performances of a relay out of lane one, because it's
Yeah.
very tough to run
It
a
is.
relay and keep everything together without messing up.
Awesome. 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 Guys, this man and his team created history for Jamaica in 1984 at the Los Angeles Olympic Games. It was himself, Gregory
Oh,
MEGHOO, of
not
course.
to cut you off,
Albert. Sure.
not to cut you off, but that day at the finals, I almost forgot to mention it. That was also my birthday. Talk about pressure. I was competing on my birthday,
That was what? August 11th?
August 11th. I turned
Wow.
19 that day.
What a good guess
I
on my
remember joking
part.
around saying I got a birthday present.
Yes, it was August 11th. Yeah, it was actually on a Saturday.
Yes, I
Friday
believe
or
so.
Saturday.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe so.
yeah.
Yes.
Awesome, 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 awesome. As a schoolboy, awesome.
Yeah,
It is
man.
always good to see. It is always brilliant to watch a high schooler making the Olympic team and coming back with hardware. I remember Veronica did it 2000 at the Sydney Olympics. And just like you, they gave Veronica the back stretch to run. And Veronica, she ran.
Yes.
She ran that race.
I admired her too. I watch her
Yes.
up and coming, man, from the time
Yes.
I heard about her from Jamaica and Arkansas, man. And I
Yes.
watch all of our races when she compete for Jamaica. That's
Brilliant.
outstanding.
Brilliant for
Outstanding.
Jamaica. Yeah. One of the most decorated track and field athlete in the history of the sport, from a junior to
Yes.
a senior. But let us look at your legacy a little bit before we get to my next question. We're just going to look at some of them. You're a graduate from Abilene Christian University in Texas, of course. Two-time Olympian, 1984, 1988. 1984, history-making silver medalist in the 4x100 meter relay for Jamaica. At the junior level, I did not even know this. At the junior level, you were on 1984, you were the under 20 champion at the Carifta Games. Do you remember that?
To be honest with you, I forgot about that. I don't remember coming second to Raymond in the 100, but I did win the 200. But I totally forgot
You
about that.
won the 200.
Yeah, I won the 200, and then I believe I got second behind
And
Raymond
then
in the 100.
and you got the silver medal in the 100
Yes.
meters behind Raymond
Yeah,
Stewart.
man. Raymond was starting to kick my butt, man, all over the field at that point.
And then 1982, you won the 4x1 with as the under 20 team. You might not even remember
No, I
that.
didn't remember until I was looking at some old pictures. I think it was Mark Senior, Clive Wright, John Muir, and geez, who was the other person? Was it Stuart?
So you have been running at the under 20 level from you were like 17,
Yeah,
sixteen,
from
17.
Carifta and the CAC games.
Awesome, awesome.
But those don't get as much recognition like the Olympics or
Yes,
world
indeed,
champs,
indeed.
that kind of thing.
Indeed, indeed. And I'm glad you say that. And this is why I always say we should try our best to preserve our athletes for the big stage, because when you're looking at their legacy, most times you have to really know to see that they went to the Carifta games or what they do at champs. That is not really recorded. It is what they
Mhm.
do internationally. So we cannot groom our youngsters to think that champs is the ultimate, because
Yeah,
champs is just the start.
right.
That's
That's just the
like
launching
training.
pad.
That's like training.
Yes.
You know, going back to U.S. Army veteran, U.S. Air Force veteran,
Yep.
police officer.
I tell you, I was
You
doing it all.
Man, you were doing it. You were doing it all. You have personal best in the 100 meters. What is your personal best in the 100?
My
Let me see if
personal
you
best
remember.
coaching myself, because I didn't really have a sprint coach, not even in college, was
Wow.
10.16. And I coached myself to
10.1
that 10.16.
10.16.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lone
10.1.
Star Conference champion for Abilene Christian. Of course, the clock said 9.9, and they rounded up to
Yeah.
10.16. But
So how did they get from 9.9 to 10.16?
I don't know. When you find that answer, let me know, cause
That's like a big roundup,
that's a
man.
big, yes, a big roundup. I guess those are unofficial times, and they go in and do the little maths and all that, and say,
Yeah.
well, for for the wind and this and that and
Yeah, the wind
whatever, and
bringing and stuff.
subtract 2.2 or round up.
Yeah,
But
that was a
yeah,
big
that kind of
roundup
thing.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your personal best in the 200 is 20.16. And of course,
No, no, 20.6. I never ran 20.1. I wish.
no, sorry, 20.76. I'm sorry, my
No,
bad.
20.6 at Abilene.
20.6. Okay.
Mhm.
And your PB in the 4x1 is what? 38.47.
Yeah, with Jamaica, 38, but that was for Jamaica, 38 point,
Yeah.
well, with Jamaica ran 38.46 to
Mm-hmm.
get the silver back then, out of lane
Yes.
one, of course. You have to remember that
Yeah.
was lane one. Could have been
Mhm.
faster if we had a better lane. In college, we were running low 39s.
Awesome, awesome. You created history for Jamaica, and I will say it over and over, because that was where it started for us in the sprint, really. When you look at your achievements and all these great things, is it a big deal for you?
Yeah, I mean, when you look, like I was telling you in the beginning, it's something I just went for the experience. I didn't know if I was going to get a scholarship. I didn't know if I was going. First of all, I didn't know if I was going to make a national team like the Olympics beyond the junior levels of Carifta and all that. And so when I look back, I made it to not just one Olympics but two Olympics. I became like the relay specialist that you could count on.
Mm-hmm.
They could call upon Greg MEGHOO, and Greg MEGHOO would be there to answer the call and give you the results. You know what I'm saying? Of course, 88 would finish fourth, so
Yes.
it didn't quite go as we didn't get to do a second medal, but we were in that finals against the odds again.
And
'Cause,
that is a big deal. That
yeah,
is
but
a big deal. Just to make a final is
oh yeah,
also a big achievement. When you look at the fact that you have almost 200 countries at the Olympic Games, and your little country made the final and finished fourth.
little Jamaica.
When you break down the data, it is a big deal. It
Yeah,
is.
Yeah, because they are, you always have these countries, the first world countries. I guess some people call them now. Yeah,
Yeah, the big countries.
yeah, they always expect the Russia and the Great Britains and the Italy and the France and you
Hmm.
name it to be the ones battling out.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jamaica, yeah, maybe,
Hmm.
because I think we're always known for the 4x4 since the Herb McKenzie days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Where we started.
84, we came back and put ourselves on the map with a
Mhm.
medal.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Before we go any further, let's just quickly look at some more comments here. Marlon Walker is saying, "Good night, Sir MEGHOO." Welcome, Marlon. Marlon Walker, welcome.
Yeah, man.
Ethel Tate is saying, "I think our ladies got lane one also at the 84
Yeah, I
Olympic
think so. Yes.
Games."
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, may I tell you.
They were
Um,
afraid. They were scared of Jamaica, man. Jamaica's always,
indeed,
we've been
indeed.
we've been threatening them since the Herb McKenzie days.
Of course, of course. 1948, we relegated them to third in the 400, taking the
Yeah, so I'm
Quinella.
saying
1952, we came back relegating them again, taking the Quinella with Mr. Herb and Arthur Wind and George Roden.
yeah,
And of
exactly,
course, winning that 4x4 1952 in record time.
exactly.
Amazing, amazing.
That's why Jamaica's so famous because them say what
Yeah.
we little but we tall.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Rymar's Crack Club is saying, true Greg, up to now, them afraid of Jamaica. True. Albert Lawrence is saying, great interview. Monica Lewis is saying, they will forever be afraid of the Jamaicans.
Always,
That's why them
always.
double and with you people not easy. Regina Montague is saying, great interview. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
guys.
man.
Marlon Walker is saying, I remember growing up watching Saturday Sports Special and JBC, and the
Oh,
1984 Olympics 4x1
GBC.
meal team was promo for the sports report because what? Jamaica won silver. Thank you very much for that, Marlon Walker. Thank you very much. Etlin Tate is saying, it is indeed a big deal. We should be very proud of our little country. I totally agree.
Of course.
Totally, totally, totally agree. Jamaica's consistently make finals, make the podium, and we need to break down the data so that people can see what a small country with that is yet to reach 3 million people at any given time
Yes.
is a big threat
Yeah,
in
man.
global
That's a
cricket.
big deal. That's a
It
big
is.
deal, man. Big,
It
big
is.
deal. And
It
because of that now, a standard is set. So
yes.
that makes the younger athletes want to measure up to what we have accomplished. And
And
they
they are doing
continue
it.
proudly
And they
to,
are doing it.
yes, they're
They're
doing it
doing it. Yeah,
because
they're
of that standard that people before me and me, myself, and people like Raymond Stewart, Bert Cameron, Albert Lawrence, Donald Quarry, Merlin Harty,
mhm,
all those, Lilith Hodges, and you name it.
mhm.
All those people set that standard that gave the younger people something to look forward to. They say, what? Jamaicans can be in the best amongst the world.
Yes, sir, we can. Yes,
And
sir.
now we're expected to be amongst the best now because we've set that legacy.
Hmm. That's my favorite word, legacy. I
Yeah, I
totally
think I
agree.
borrowed that from you.
I totally agree with you. But before we get to the next chapter in your life now, which is the military, as a student athlete, life tend to be a little easier when you're in high school and college because all the resources are provided for you. But when you become a pro or senior, what was it like for you in terms of accessing a coach, training facility, nutrition? Um, all that kind of thing. What was it like for you?
um, didn't have that kind of support. All the support I had was in college. So what these guys have now, even though it's way better than what I had. And if you didn't have a sponsorship like a shoe contract
Yeah.
that pay your local salary at, each month, and a training facility set up where you can go and train and have a coach and a strength training coach and all that, nutrition coach, you're on your own. And I never had that connection. The closest I came to that while I was working on my master's now, I ended up going to Michigan State, started coaching there as a grad assistant, working on my master's. I was still kind of competing back then. And near the end of finishing up my master's, about a year before I finished, I met up with Trevor Graham back then that started this
Mm-hmm.
track club, and he had the likes of some top athletes already.
Yes, yes.
And I went and visited him, and he was still trying to put it and grow that club, you know. And I looked at it, and I didn't gravitate into taking up that challenge of work, because you would be starting with nothing and you had
Yeah.
to train and with very little help still, in the hopes that you would get the coaching, of course, and a place to train. And at the time, it was like, well, I could stay with him if I choose to, until I, find a little job and work and train or and get sponsored once you start to get the rankings. But I was kind of the fear of that it might not work out was
Mm-hmm.
was bigger in my heart than trying to take that chance.
Than
Because
the
I was getting to the
success.
stage now where I'm in my mid-20s now, and I didn't want to take that chance in case it didn't work out. So I
But
like,
Greg, you were still a baby. In your 20s, you're still a
yeah,
baby.
yeah. I mean, you're talking about 20, 20, 25, 26. So I was still in the prime, But by the time I'm out of college, training
Mhm.
myself,
Yeah.
working as a graduate assistant at Michigan State, trying to get my master's degree in athletic administration. And it was tough.
Yeah.
Without a contract, it's a no-go. It's going to be tough. Without a coach, dedicated coach, as a coach that knows what your needs are as far as sprinting and know how to develop you as a sprinter, right? To work with you from start to finish. It's tough. I was out there coaching myself. Yeah, I've had one or two at least that we would train, sometimes try to push each other, but it's not like you need that expert coach
Yes.
to
Yeah.
break down everything, tell you what you're doing right from wrong, and break down the little nitty gritty things to correct and all that kind of stuff. Your race plan and all the technical aspect of what's involved in developing your sprint game. You know what I'm saying? To be the best that you can be.
What was the
These guys
biggest
got that now.
what was the biggest challenge you had? I know you said you didn't have a coach, you had to be coaching yourself and working, but what was your biggest challenge in
Not
your
having any sponsors, not being able to have a sponsors, and that kind of came with I wasn't ranked in the world at that point. Without that ranking, you're not going to get that sponsor. So the biggest
even
challenge was just the money, the financial aspect to keep going.
so even though you were an Olympic silver
Yeah,
medalist,
that didn't matter.
it didn't count.
No, that didn't matter. No, and remember, no, a lot of times if you don't have an individual performance going, like you're not, what I had was as a relay specialist. But if you don't build on your individual game now, the 100, the 200, and start getting some rank times. Because I initially started out in college being sponsored by Nike, but it's mostly gear, nothing monetary.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, they were like, you got to get some rank. You got to get yourself up into the rankings to maintain our sponsorship. Of course, I started having a lot of injury problems too, and that kind of put a damp on me being able to you know, get over that slump and continue on and improve. Because again, outside of college and being able to work with other guys to push each other like a team effort, I didn't have that. I was totally on my own. And trust me, nobody can make that on their own. Nobody. Maybe some rare cases a year, some people train and self-fund themselves, but it's tough. And a lot of times they're not that successful. If you know one, let me know. But I don't know anybody that without that kind of support can be successful. So I made a decision to move on with my life at that point. By that time, now I was maybe, 27, finishing. I decided to go back, finish up my master's, and
How
then
how can we I am listening to you and everything you're saying is facts because I've heard it over and over that after college a lot of our athletes, some of them struggle to find a coach, to find that place because they don't have any endorsement. How can as a country and those of us around the world, Jamaicans who wants to help, how can we help these athletes collectively as a people?
Well, ideally, you would think that would come from the J3s to support the overseas athletes who are overseas based, but they tend to only focus on the ones that are there. And a lot of times they're like, we can barely fund the ones that are here, or we barely have money to do this and that while we're in Jamaica, much as try to fund somebody overseas. So unless they're constantly bringing in revenue through the private sector to fund to say, look, if we have at least US base that don't have any sponsorship, let's have some private sector money coming in, and we'll put some money, create a athletic fund, so to speak, for track and field at least that maybe need that extra help until they can get that sponsorship that they could call back in the Jamaica and say, hey, I'm training for the next Olympics. I'm gonna look short on funds. I need a little monetary support, so I can maybe get an apartment and take care of myself, so I can still train, stay healthy and train, that kind of thing. But it's easier said than done.
Yes, yes.
Most of the time, you're expected to fend for yourself, being improve your performance, get yourself into the top 10 in the world or top 15 or whatever, and get that contract if you can with a Nike or Adidas or whichever shoe company that see some future in your potential, that they would say, all right, yes, we can sponsor that athlete. But I never got to that stage because at that point, like I was saying, I don't have a coach.
But
So
it is tough to get to that level without the resources.
yeah, man, very tough.
A coach that knows what he's doing, understand the science of the body, when to load, when to offload, when
Yeah,
to
your
go
mental
50,
state.
60. Yeah, all of that. If you don't have that initially to bring you to that level, how are you going to attract endorsement?
Impossible. Impossible. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You can try for a moment, but eventually you struggles without the financial support, the sponsorship, the coach. Believe it or not, you need a coach that can watch your every movement on the track and to
Mm-hmm.
help you perfect and fine tune things, right? And you need a trainer to keep you healthy and all that kind of stuff. And when you get injured and all that, having some issue with your muscle or your grind, and you can't go to a trainer to say,
Yeah.
all right, test me to see where the imbalances are and see if we can fix that. Like these guys have now. I mean, till this day, we still got aspiring athletes
A
that
lot. A lot of
that don't
them.
have that till this day.
A
And not
lot of
unless you're
them.
ranked in the top 10 and have some money coming in, where you can afford to get a team like that. We can pay for a team like that around you. But and stop short of Jamaica having a national program like
Yeah.
some countries do, that says no
Yes.
matter what, we have our national sports program, like a Colorado Springs or something like that, where US athletes can go and train and have all the resources and the coaching and all that.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jamaica would have to set something like that up, like a national athletic program where athletes can train, or even if you're overseas based, you can come back and
And
prepare and
train.
have all the resources and get ready for whichever meet, your Olympics, your World Championship, your Commonwealth Games, your
Yeah.
CAC Games, you name it, and have the resources. I think UTech had something like that where it was still kind of separate though, but it was the closest thing that I've seen outside of when I left Jamaica, that they were getting some kind of sponsorship. Because by that time, no, money flow has gotten better over the years to
Mm-hmm.
help out with athletes. But you hear athletes now say it's still not perfect.
Yeah, I think we need to we and the thing is this, we want the gold medals, we want the silver medals, we want the bronze medals, we want to be on the podium as a country. But when you take the coaches out of it, the MVP, the legacy, the elite, the racers, when you take the all the track clubs out of it, really and truly as a country, we're not doing anything. If it wasn't for
No,
these
not really.
coaches producing these athletes with whatever little resources they have,
Right,
so we really need to start putting a proposal together and go to our title sponsor and said, look, I want this to be a part of our track and field Jamaica. We need to have facility for those who are not able to have their own coaches. They can come here and they can train even if they're overseas.
right. Because the successes we have had is the individual coaches that set up their own training plan, their
Mm-hmm.
own program, and organize it well and have
And the
everything laid out.
And the success before that we've had is our athletes going overseas, getting track and field scholarship
Right.
and going overseas and come back. Because before the 21st century, the rise of Shelley and Bolt, all our medalists were in university abroad. The
Yes,
Merlin
that's
Ottey,
true.
Bert Cameron, Arthur Wint, Herb McKinley,
Yeah,
Juliet
Veronica
Cuthbert,
Campbell, you name it.
all of them were
Yeah,
overseas.
yeah. Yeah,
Even
Dion
Dion
Hemmings.
Hemmings, every one of them, even Lilith Hodges, Ruth, Dorothy, all of them, they studied abroad and trained abroad.
Yeah, yeah. Norma
Before
Lee Murray,
every,
your
you
Jacqueline
name them,
Pusey.
Jackie
I
Pusey.
hear that name mentioned last week when I caught the tail end of the interview with Albert.
Listen,
Um, yeah, everything primarily came
from
from the
overseas.
collegiate scene overseas.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Every,
I was always saying, because we don't always get the best treatment when you come over. You have to have your head screwed onto your body to make it. And I always said it would be nice if Jamaica can sponsor and keep our athletes home and train them and develop them there, but the money has to come. You know what I'm saying?
yes. Mm-hmm.
Because when you win a gold medal from other resources outside of Jamaica, Jamaica is the first one to big you up and ride on the
Mm-hmm.
coattails and all that and
Mm-hmm.
said,
Mm-hmm.
yes, man, you make Jamaica proud, but you didn't necessarily get that much support from them
Yes.
financially. It
Yes.
was all
And
still up to the individual athlete to make it.
and that is one of the weakness we have. We don't pay enough attention to development. We want the finished product. We jump on the bandwagon at the finished product, but when it comes on to the development, nobody really,
No.
nobody cares, nobody look.
And I think the track clubs should get more support too,
They
to be
should.
honest with you.
They should. They should. Because what I'm saying is that we should plan for global championships as a country. We should say, okay, we want to win 20 medals. We want to win 15 goals and the rest in silver and bronze. And the powers that be should now make contact with the track club and said, okay, meet with all of them and said, okay, what do we need to do to win 20 medals in LA for 4 years' time? Because 4 years' time, we're going to LA. Meet with all the clubs and the coaches. What do we need? How can we win 20 medals?
There you go.
Wherever the track club needs some help, then the powers that be that said, okay, so you need some help to set up your gym. So we're going to help MVP to set up a gym. Racers might need some hurdles, wherever they need additional
I
resources,
might provide them with some therapy, some physical
whatever
therapy,
you can provide them
you
with. Because
know?
remember, when the 4 years come, we are looking to win these 20 medals. If we did not win the 20 medals and we win 15, you go back to the drawing board and you do your post-mortem and you said, okay, where did we fall short, why we did not win the
Right.
20 medals, and you start build on that for the next championship. But
Right.
we're not doing any planning. There's
I
no planning. There's
mean,
no.
look at it this way. In the ideal world, that's the way it should be. But for some reason, till this modern day in 2024, going 2025, it's still something it seems like the little island is struggling with, you know?
We just get up and go. If we medal, we medal.
Yeah, right. And then when we don't medal, it's all kind of pointing fingers. What happened?
Yes,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But they're
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily there helping out to grow the development of
Yes, yes.
the teams or the athletes, I should say. As well as, I mean, Jamaica's supposed to have a development program. I think, I don't know if it's still going on now with In Sport. That's what I think they were primarily supposed to do, I guess, in conjunction with maybe
Yeah.
J3s too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always tough to get the private sector involved. And if they don't think they're going to make money out of it, they might not be too quick to do it. They do
But
it
you
for voice
see,
chat because of the
the hype
advertising,
and
you know,
and the TV rights and stuff.
the
But the thing
TV
is
rights
that,
and all that, you know.
but
But it
the
goes
thing
back
is
to the
that,
corporate.
yes, Corporate will come on board, but you have to go to corporate with a proposal. What are you proposing? Why should I be a part of your brand? Why should I collaborate with you? Why should I put my money into your thing? And you now supposed to pull up your proposal and said, okay, these are the reasons why we want some of your money, because over the last 10 years, Jamaica has won 4 out of 5 Olympic 100 meter. Jamaica has won 4 out of
Man,
5 Olympic 200 meters
man,
for
we have
the
a lot
women.
of hardware, man.
Yeah, we have the data. So
Yeah,
you just bring up the data and let them see.
yeah.
Jamaica is in every sprint final at the Olympic
And
Games.
look, field events now. We start to show. I mean, field events saved us with some medals this year at the Olympics.
Oh
Some
my God.
unexpected
Field
medals.
events did
Field events get
awesomely
neglected.
well.
You know, I don't know if you
Brilliant.
ever remember this name. There's a field events person that made the 84 team with me, Marlene Lewis. Nobody remember who she was.
She's on my list as an Olympian. I know her
Yeah,
by name, only by name.
yeah. She's no
Mhm.
longer alive, but
Oh,
she has
wow.
died. You
Okay.
know, but nobody talked about her, and it was so sad that I think some years ago, I look back and there was a javelin throw that
Hmm.
was practically homeless, but she
Yes,
had represented Jamaica.
listen. She Olivia McCoy is her name, two-time
Yes, I didn't
Olympian.
remember her name.
She created history for Jamaica, the only Jamaican to have gone to the Olympics in the javelin.
Right.
And and I'm saying we have so much history. Our history is so big. The data is there. We just need to itemize the data for people to really see how powerful
But
of a
then no, the data is
nation we are.
there. The
The
data
data
is
is
there.
there, but nobody is bringing the data to the fore. Nobody is educating the people about the data. You and I may know the data because we have been following the sport from within a nappy,
Yeah.
but
The
the data
J3 should know that too.
the data is
They
out
are
there,
the
but
leader
we
in the amateur athletics down there. They're the ones keeping up, supposedly keeping up with everything.
yeah, we really need to do more because our
Yeah.
legacy is rich. But before I move into the next chapter of your life, which is going to be law enforcement, you will have to tell me why you choose law enforcement. But before we get there, let me just go right back here where okay, Dorothy Scott was giving us some update on there's a friendly match. Oh, there's a CONCACAF match between the Americans and the Jamaican, and they're leading us
Oh,
for
that's gonna be a
one.
big rivalry again.
Yeah, a big rivalry again in CONCACAF. So they're leading Jamaica 1-0. Albert
Oh, it's
is
going on.
saying,
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
going on. Albert is saying, Greg, don't forget that we are coming out of retirement to play flag football at the 2028
Albert
Olympic
funny.
Games for Jamaica. I love it. Etlin Tate is saying, I think majority of us athletes back then stop or quit early to go and get ourselves a job. And I agree with Etlin
Yeah,
on that. Yeah.
yeah. You're left with no
You
choice
had to
then. Either
survive.
that or homeless.
Yeah, you had to survive.
Yeah.
So you walk away from the sport
And
and go and
sometimes,
get.
not to cut you again, but sometimes some of us actually go home. You know, I actually went home to see how I could fit back in with Jamaica, but nobody was lifting a finger. Went and talked to a couple of leaders, and even at InSport, and they're all about, well, we don't have no money, we're small program, and we don't know if there's a fit for you and all that. And I came back to the
Wow.
US. Came back to the US. There were
With,
not that there was
with your
not that
with your
eagerness. There was not that
with your
eagerness.
with your master's degree in sport administration
And remember, and a two-time Olympian,
and two time
NCAA champion, and all that kind of stuff that coming with the experience and the master's degree in sports
and they
administration.
turn you away.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even. I think when I was talking to the guy, it was just. I think I gave him a resume. He just got through one years and the other.
You're
It
not
was
the first
it was kind of
athlete.
like this. Don't call me, I'll call you. Yeah,
You're not
without
the
saying
first.
that.
You're not the first retired athlete I hear said that they come back to Jamaica and want to be a part of the industry and want to give back, and nobody would
No,
listen
no, there
to
was
them.
not that eagerness. It was all about the woes of the money and, well, we don't know if we can even pay you, or some of it. I think they felt threatened by us coming back and maybe having that success, being that we're coming back not just with a farmer at least, but now we have our education to back us up. You know what I'm saying? and I came back with a master's. And I remember coming back and thinking, man, I can do a thing, you know. I just need the door to open up. But you know, I remember talking. I even called. I think you've interviewed her some time ago. I hadn't seen her for a long time. I set the interview. When I went over some of your videos, Grace Jackson, and she was just like she was the AD at UA, but their athletic program, the athletic director there. And she was just like, you know, I don't have the money to, you know, to even run the program I want the way I want to run it there, you
Right,
know.
right.
So you know, it was kind of discouraging. Of course, I was like, well, I can't be in Jamaica and can't find nothing. I don't have no connections to corporate because I've been
Mm-hmm.
out of the loop so long. So I came back to the States and did what I had to do to survive, you know.
Wow.
Outside of athletics, by that time, no athletics is behind me
Behind
now.
you. Let us go right into that. But before we go into that, Lilith Hodges is saying, back in my days, my coach, Dr. Lyle, always said he has never seen such a small island produce such caliber of athletes. I
Yeah,
hear that every day. When people discover that I'm from Jamaica, the first question
yeah,
them ask me, before them ask me if I can cook curry chicken, they ask me how Jamaicans run so fast.
yes. I mean, because Jamaica just is
We are blessed, but we
we
don't
have
know.
this fire in our heart, man, to be the best.
Yeah,
No matter what it is. Once you find that niche,
yeah,
we put our heart into it to be the best. And of course, it's always a big help when you have a good coach to surround you and support factor.
yes.
But once we make up our mind as Jamaicans, because we're so small, and some of us coming from little countryside and all that, and we are,
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
know, we want to make our local community proud on top of it. So we go out there and give it our all. And
Yeah.
because of that, we end up excelling too, you know. Some of us, not all the time, but mostly a lot of us have had that success,
Can
you
you
know.
imagine if all of you with these credentials and experience should come back to Jamaica? If they would just allow you guys to come back and set the thing right?
Yeah, that would be nice. It's a little tougher when you're out of the loop for so long and you have people that are well ingrained into the system and have some kind of ownership to it. You know, they would have to be willing to to
To be
to invite us
open.
in and let
Mhm.
us at least share our thought process with them and go from there and then see how we could collaborate. But until that happens, you know, you'll probably not see it too much. It might be happening on smaller scales, but you know, but
Boy,
I haven't
Greg,
heard too much success.
it is one of my dream to see that, to see our track and field look business like,
Yeah,
because we have the product, we are a brand. Jamaica First is a brand, and Jamaica
yeah.
Track and Field is a brand. I would love to see us look business like. DJ Stephen, DJ Rudy Dunkley is saying good night all. Good night, sir.
Yes, good night. Good
um
night.
Good night, good night. Boy, I tell you, Evelyn is saying, yeah, me. Okay, she's talking about Marlene Lewis. May her soul rest in peace. Indeed,
Yeah.
another of Jamaica's Olympian. And it is on this show that I'm learning that,
Oh,
a
okay. You didn't
few
know.
of,
Okay.
no, I did not know before. And last week, I learned through Albert that Norman Edwards is no longer with us
Oh
either.
no, that I didn't know.
Yes,
Okay.
so may they rest in peace.
Okay. Yeah.
Olympians forever. It doesn't matter where they are. Olympians
Right.
for
Right. Life is so
forever.
short, yeah.
Yes, yes, Olympians forever. Ethlyn Tate is saying they didn't even know that I came back home. Each time they saw me at
You see,
chance,
look at
they
that.
they would say, "Welcome home, Ethlyn." That's bad.
Yes. You know,
Oh,
and you know, you would think that they would at least try to reach out to you and see how they could get you involved and bring you experience, but no.
here we have another outstanding three times Olympian: 1964, 1968, 1972, Miss Vilma Charlton. I call
Oh,
her
Vilma
Auntie
Charlton.
Vilma.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, she's saying good night, MEGHOO. Congrats to
Yeah.
you on an illustrious career, especially in life after track. And let me tell you, Auntie Vilma just give us a nice segue. Now we're going to look at your life after track and field, from sports to law enforcement, the U.S. military, the police force and the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force. Why did you choose law enforcement?
Well, actually, I went into the military first because after my
Yes.
illustrious master's degree in sport, I interviewed for quite a few athletic jobs in coaching, athletic administration, and the doors was getting slammed. Bam. Yes, you're in the top two, but you didn't get it. You're in the top three, but you didn't get it. And you find yourself asking, well, okay, what the other people have that I don't have?
Right,
Well,
right.
it's not up to me, I'm just the coach, and they knew this other guy and he was a volunteer coach, and they're comfortable with him, and all the excuses. And so, after a while I end up just working a regular 9 to 5, and I say, you know what, man, I gotta, move on and find something else to do. And I started thinking about the military. The military had a sports program, so I thought I could join the army and maybe continue on a little bit more with the army sports program. So I joined, and I was in the infantry for a couple of years, and I represented the army in the all armed forces competition. For at the time, the base name was Fort Benning, and I competed at that level. I competed at the they call it the inter-unit level amongst other units at the base, and I would win and be the winners for those events. Went on for the armed forces trial, made that team. They would compete against like the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Armed Forces Championship, and the Army win all the time. The Army have what they call world class athlete program, where they develop a lot of US athletes out of that program too, from wrestling to boxing to marksmanship to track and
Wow.
field, basketball, you name it. No, I didn't go on to the world class athlete program after the armed forces competition. After we win a couple of championships with them, I just finished up my career and went into the reserve. Went and work a regular 9 to 5. Was doing a little bit of. There's a lot of stuff in between, not just
So
straight
at
into.
what point did you get to the police force? How did you transition from the army to the
Well,
police?
when after when I was in the army, I ended up I would do little work like security in between and all that, and I was like, you know, I need to put myself to some better use than just working security. So I said, you know what, I'm going to apply to law enforcement because I have a degree and they were paying you. If you have a college degree, you get more money. So it was a survival thing. And I
Right.
was like, if I'm going to do security for less money, I may as well go into law enforcement where I, can at least advance and get paid based on having a college degree. So I did that, and I ended up in a police department called Marta Police out of Atlanta. And that's how I started out in law enforcement. Did that for a couple, I think I did that for about 5 years or so, 6 years. And then during that time, I ventured out into another police department where I was working also as a resource officer with the Fulton County school system. And then the army, in the reserve, I went inactive. And then the army had a war breakout with the second George Bush. And they recalled me back because I was actually finishing up and be done with the military. I was not even going to make a career out of it.
So you
Uh,
were deployed?
Yes, I deployed twice. I deployed once with the army. Kind of more when the war was kind of wind down a little bit. So it was not volatile when I went with the army.
Where did you go? Can you say?
I went to the Middle East. I was more assigned over close to the Iraqi border and in Jordan,
So
you
what
know.
was that like? Just tell us a little bit. What was it
So
like for
you with
you
the army. I can't go too
psychologically?
much into the details, but
Yes, I know, I
you're with
know.
the army. You're over there doing your training mission and collaborating with, with the Kuwaiti forces, the Jordanian forces, the Saudi Arabian forces, and some of that stuff I can't really get into because
Yes, I know. That's fine.
yeah, the US had their own little business that they had to conduct at the same time. So it was kind of like a joint mission thing that we did. But you get a chance to tour the place, You mingled with
So
the
were
Bedouins.
you scared? I mean, at that
Yeah, of
time?
course, you don't know if you're gonna get attacked out of the blue or anything like that. You're always on your guard because that's what you're trained to do. In the army, they tell you stay alert, stay alive. So you're always on alert. Um, but when I was there, you get to mix with the Bedouins. You get to kind of have a brotherhood with the Jordanian, soldiers. They invited us. I was with the U.S. Army. They invited us to eat with them and sing and dance, and we eat goat. sitting down and eat goat and rice with your hand out in the desert, have a little fellow soldier, fellowship. The Bedouins, they believe it or not, that side of Jordan near the Iraqi border, the Bedouins still act like in the year in the Bible, the shepherd with the sheep, with the staff,
Mm-hmm.
and they have
Mm-hmm.
on their shoulder, they still have people do sheep herding in the desert.
Wow.
And I remember out there on a mission, and one of the Bedouins came out there and approached us and invited us to drink, shy tea in his tent with the carpet, at the tent with the carpet out there in the desert, you know. And we sat there and talked with them and talk life and talk about war and peace and believe it or not, those guys just want peace.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to them, they don't want all this war going on. They just want peace. And you realize that a lot of these things with the human mindset is not that we want to keep fighting each other, but
Yeah.
the politician, the upper echelons of politics that have their own agendas, and. But it was an
Yeah.
experience.
I can just imagine because this was like during the time before 9/11 and those things.
Yes, yes. But the
Wow.
9/11, I got recall after came up because of 9/11 is why I came back in the military. Basically, was forced back in. I mean, I still had like a year left of commitment, so I was no longer doing the reserve thing, but I was still in the reserve. So I had 1 year commitment left, and I was just starting a new job in a new police department. Like I was saying, if you catch me, I was going into the resource officer program to work for the schools system to provide safety for them kids. You know what I'm saying? As a law enforcement officer, and I couldn't even start that job because I had to report for duty. Because they call you back if you don't report.
9/11 all everybody were actually called.
Yeah, they were calling. Well, a friend of mine that was still in the army. Um, he was working in the reserve component that was involved with some of those call ups, and he would call me and said, "MEGHOO, they're gonna call you back." I laugh at him. I said, "Man, me in an inactive reserve. I'm no longer military minded. I have no military bearing. I'm not. My discipline is like kicking back and
You're
chilling."
disconnected.
Yes, I'm disconnected from that. And sure enough, I came home and there was a presidential call up by the order of the president. You're hereby called back, recall for duty, then to report on such and such a time. I Fort Leonardwood, Missouri. You know what I'm saying? They called it Fort Lost in the Wood for retraining. By the time they know I was a little buck sergeant. But I had to report. I actually fought it because I was like, man, I'm not gonna have this job, guaranteed. I didn't even do day one on this job yet. So I had to report to that thing. And then once I reported and I was, gotten through all that, then I end up looking into the Air Force.
National duty trumped everything else. The
Yeah,
Air
yeah. I mean, if
Force.
you don't go, you get
Yeah.
dishonorable discharge. They can actually jail you. You know.
Wow.
So
That is what you pledge to
right,
country.
that's the contract. Yeah, when you raise that right hand and say, "Yo, well, you sort of fight for freedom and democracy and defend the Constitution and follow the orders
Man,
of the
you
president."
remember it.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's a volunteer military, so I just took my athletic skills and went into the military and did my thing. Because I was always tip top in my PT scores. Physical fitness. I was always one of the top ones. You know what I'm saying? I
The
always,
Air
you get
Force.
the fitness badge. Yeah, you're top notch. But because of that Olympic background, that
Yeah.
athletic fitness was still in me, so that helped me with my, my transition into the
Your
military.
training.
Having that
Yeah.
fitness, yes. You
But
know.
after the army and the police force, what triggered in your mind to go back into another regiment like this?
Oh,
This
let me tell you the
time, the
story.
US Air Force.
um, they were looking for prior service people. They'd actually call me up and ask me if I was willing to transfer about into the Air Force. And I told the guy he can, kick rocks. Basically, I said, I'm no longer interested in the military. Why are you calling me? I'm not interested. But then I thought about it. Yeah, I still had a few months on my contract, and they were still I was still subject to recall. I didn't want to serve under the army in the infantry. So I looked into the Air Force and transition over, did the whole paperwork. All I had to do was transition over because I've already been through basic training. I was a staff, not a staff sergeant, I was just a regular buck sergeant still. And I crossed over into the Air Force at that point and into the air transportation logistics side of it. And that's what I did until I finished. And the last couple of years, I finished out recruiting for the Air Force
Wow.
outside of logistics, air transportation. Deployed with them before I went into recruiting to recruit fellow Air Force people to the blue.
Wow, the man who have done it all, sports
Right.
and any law enforcement
Oh
you
yeah,
can
and I
think of.
deployed with the Air Force too. I went to Iraq. With,
Man, you
yeah.
love the Middle East.
Well, yeah, I was with a unit that was a rapid deployment. My reserve unit was kind of rapid deployment. Anything with the Middle East, we're called upon because we're logistics and we're air support. So you get things a little bit quicker and faster via air support. Anything you
Yeah,
need, troops, arms, equipment, aircraft, personnel, anything you need. You know, you're doing secret missions. So and in the Air Force, I end up developing their recruits too. Before I became a recruiter, I was responsible for what they call a development training flight, which they were starting up, which they didn't think nobody would be able to run that program. And I ran that program on my own with very little resources. It was a test program, right? That they wanted to help the recruiters out because they were having failures out of basic training. Because they would just have them hang with the recruiters for a while and then they get their ship date and they go to basic training unprepared. So I was responsible for their fitness, military training, customs courtesies, everything from learning how to march, how to salute, to pass their fitness tests, all that kind of stuff, to know what to expect in the military and to survive basic training. I did it all. I was like a semi drill sergeant for them.
yeah, man. You were everything. You are
Yeah.
the second Jamaican Olympian that has been in the Air Force.
Oh, really? Who was the other
Yes,
person?
Mr. Arthur Wynn, Dr. Arthur Wynn
Oh, yeah, yes,
was
yes,
in
yes,
the Air Force. He
yes.
was actually Air Force pilot in World War II that
Oh, so
prevented 1940 and
oh
1944
wow.
Olympic Games. And
So
then
back then
he
that was under the Royal Air Force back then, I guess.
Royal Air Force,
Oh,
right, under the
wow,
Royal Air Force. And
wow.
he, after the World War II finished, he went to London at the 1948 Olympics and won gold.
Look at that.
Awesome, awesome,
Look
awesome,
at that. I
awesome.
did all that before the military.
Yes,
He was
man.
opposite of me.
Yes, yeah, awesome, awesome.
But
And
that,
this
was-
is
that but that helped me grow as a man. It especially from the track side and the military combined, that taught me survival skills. Without that, I don't know if I would have survived. I probably would have been in the streets. You know, develop a mental toughness beyond athletics. That's why I was able to stay here in America and survive and still survive until this day.
awesome, awesome. I love the stories. I love it. Marlon Walker is saying, "Man for be like a soldier." Barrington Levy song.
Yeah,
Peter
man.
Green is here. Welcome,
Oh,
Peter
Peter
Green.
Green. Big ups, Peter Green.
Yes, Peter
I
Green
believe
is.
yeah, he was I believe Christian man again.
Yes, he's saying hi to Gregory from his former teammate Peter Green. Thank
Yes,
you very
man.
much,
Yeah, man. Appreciate the big ups to Peter Green.
Abilene Christian University. ACU is very much in the building. Spanish Town in the building. St. Jago in the
Spanish
building.
Town, yeah, big
And
up
of
to Spanish
course,
Town to and any Jago
Jamaica.
people.
Yeah, man. St. Jago is in the building.
And I
And of
still
course,
believe Jago have the most Olympians over
look
there.
here. Don't bother with that. Don't bother with
If
that.
Albert is still listening,
Listen, don't bother with that. Cause
you know, you, you don't have the
that's
data
one of
yet.
the question I have to ask you. Don't upset the Veer people. Mind you upset.
They want to upset the Veer people, man.
Mind you upset the very people. Ethelyn Tate is saying, wow, Olympian, policeman, military man,
Man, I've
my,
done it
my,
all,
man.
man. I can
What
write a
a
book.
man. Only a Jamaican.
Talk about
Congratulations.
survival beyond track and field. That's what you have to do. When things don't work out, you look for other avenues and you try to find that purpose and survive. 'Cause I don't believe I would have cut grass to survive. I wasn't about to be homeless. You know what I'm saying? I've done it all, man.
Inspiring. This is a very inspiring story. I mean,
Yeah. You have to swallow your pride. They want
survival.
to
Yes.
survive. You
Only
have to
the
swallow your
strong
pride.
survive. Only the strong survive, they
Yeah.
say.
You
And I
can't
like
have too
what
much pride when you're trying to survive.
you just said. You would have cut grass to survive because it is a honest living.
Oh yeah, and guess what? I did that. While I was in college on my master's, I was doing landscaping maintenance work to get a little extra money. Even while I was
Because
a graduate assistant.
Listen, man, I know that very well. When I was doing my masters here, where I live, where I was boarding, one of the deal that I made with my landlord was to do his gardening, and I didn't pay any rent.
Exactly.
And he loved when I did the gardening and all of that. And after a while, I stopped paying rent. Him just say, "All right, you know something, Jamaica, you don't have to pay any more rent. Cause you
Open
keep my
doors.
place
That's a
nice."
blessing. It's a blessing
Servant,
to open up because
yes.
you're willing to do the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And for,
Mm-hmm.
and with for very little money, probably, you're just you
Yeah.
probably wasn't even paying you a lot,
Listen, I just wanted the roof over my head until I was done studying.
Same here. Same here, you know? And it was that are homeless. And I wasn't about to
Yes.
go sell drugs on the street or not like that. I
Yeah.
wasn't about to become one of those statistics.
Yeah. You drop out of school and all of that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
man. If push come to shove, I have to survive, man. Even at my age, I'm getting older now, almost 60 now. I mean, if push come to shove, I'm gonna find a way to make it still until I
Yeah.
die.
Indeed.
That's the
Indeed.
only time I stop trying is when I die.
Yep. We stop trying when we're no longer above earth.
You're right,
Totally,
exactly. But for now,
totally agree.
try. Try to make the
Yeah.
best of life as best as you can. But live simple and within
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Albert Lawrence is saying we are the unforgettable athletes. Jamaica
Yeah, where's
should.
the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Where's the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we need a Hall of Fame for real. We need a Hall of Fame. We need a Jamaica Hall of Fame. We need a museum and we need a Jamaica Hall
Yeah,
of Fame.
man.
No, no joke, no joke, no
Well,
joke.
yeah, calling Bobsy Grange, calling Bobsy
Yes,
Grange.
call in the
The
powers
sports
that
that
be.
should be part of the sport tourism. Setting up
Yes,
that
yes,
museum and the Hall of Fame from all the Olympians all the way
yes.
back from the party.
It is long overdue. Long, long, long
Yeah, man. Just
overdue.
don't put up two statues and call it and give it to your biggest
Yeah.
and best athletes. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying, that get gold medal and set world record. There's other athletes who
Yeah.
put out just as much work.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Dorothy
just to
Scott
just
is.
to make it on the track in the Olympics is a
Of
big
course.
accomplishment.
No, but just to make the team. To
Right?
look
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. All right,
Have
yeah.
you
You're
have
right.
you have you ever seen how some other countries athletes celebrate when they make a final, when they run that semi-final and look up on that board and realize that they're in the final, how they celebrate.
Yeah. Or
They're not.
even when they make it to the final and if they get eight and they're like, oh, I run a personal best. It's like
Yeah.
gold medal. They're
Yes.
so happy that they got eight,
Yes.
but they got a personal best.
Yes.
Or like you said,
Indeed.
they make it to the semifinals, and it's the
Mhm.
first one in their country to make it that far. But you're on the track. Once you make it
Yes.
on that track,
Yes.
or like you said, go back further. You're right. Once you make that team to represent your country, that's the one of the highest honors. First of all,
Yes.
okay, you get a chance to to showcase your country and represent your country with honor.
Hmm.
As best as you
Hmm.
can, even though you might not necessarily you know get back
Yeah.
all the treatment you would like back from the country,
Yes.
but not
Yes.
only to win a gold medal, of course, but
Yeah, but we need to stop that though. It's not all about gold medal. There are so many things. There are so many things
exactly.
and that is why I'm a person like this. I love to look at data. Because data tell you the story. Just like how we are now looking at your story, when I look at your data, it
Yeah.
is the data that is telling this wonderful story. And we need to start
And they
looking
need to
at
support the
this.
athletes, even if they're overseas and the athlete trying to come back and do something, even if they don't come back to live there per se, but they're willing to come back as often as possible to kind of interact with the Jamaica sports system, and they need a little help to come over and interact. They should still try and help them out, if it's even with a hotel to come and stay and help, even if they're performing like say, at the Gibson relay with a team, or
Mm-hmm.
they come to do a clinic or something, or to give a speech. Help that athlete, man. You can have a former Olympian coming back trying to still be involved with you, and you can't
With
even help
all
them
this
with a hotel fee.
experience, yeah, all this experience and the credentials, and you don't even
Right,
look at the resume properly.
right,
But you see,
right.
the thing is,
Thank you for representing us.
but something, a lot of our people, they don't know who the Olympians are.
No,
You can go to Jamaica right now and call your name, and some people don't even realize that you created history for Jamaica 1984 because they
yeah,
don't know they don't know the history.
I
And
think
the
I'm the
history.
first high school, at least from my high school, from St. Diego. You know, being at Bertland was there too, but I went as a high schooler and got a medal. I think I was the first San Diego to represent at the high school level, make it to the Olympics the first try and medal. I don't, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I don't think anybody else have done that. We have had more Olympians come out from San Diego and make goal and do way better than I
You're
ever
right.
did.
You're right. Because I'm scanning the Olympians because as I said, I have all the Olympians in a file in a Excel spreadsheet from 1948 to 2021 and some of 2024.
Right.
And I'm scanning the medalist, and you are actually the first medalist from Saint Jago.
Yeah, right. And I don't know about
As a
right.
schoolboy
As a
too.
schoolboy, and I think maybe Raymond too for Camperdown. You know, 'cause both of us were high schoolers. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I know Quarry went to Camperdown, but he didn't medal his first time. He was injured, I think, at 17 or something like that.
He was injured. He went 1972 and he was injured.
Right.
Corey
But
was
Stewart
injured, but
came 84 and medal as a high school from camp. So he might be in the same situation like me to just to big
yeah,
him up too. I mean, you
yeah,
can research it. I can't speak for
yes,
Camperdown, but I think from
hmm
San Diego,
yeah,
I was under. And if I'm wrong, somebody just correct me, you know?
yeah,
Anybody,
yeah,
any Jagoites that know different, they tell me.
yeah. I have a lot of the data, and scanning the data, you would be the first Olympic medalist from Saint Jago,
I
because
think so too.
I can tell you, I can list out our medalists, Olympic medalists from 1948 right now,
Oh, okay.
all the way up. And when I scan my list, you would be the first
Oh,
Olympic
okay.
medalist.
From
Bert,
Jago. Yes.
right? Bert won the first World Championship medal,
Right. 83.
1983,
Yes.
right? But Olympic medal, it would be you, and you won it as a schoolboy. We need. I don't think we get it that the Olympic Games for track and field is the highest level of competition. Prestige. You can put on your resume that you are an Olympian and you can get a job with that.
Yes, maybe now in Jamaica you can,
It is
you
a
know, because
big
they've
deal. Yeah.
gotten a little bit better. It
Hmm.
still need improvement. There's always
Yeah.
room for improvement, always.
Yes.
But compared to my time now,
Yeah. Yeah. You're
compared
right.
to my
You're right.
time now,
Because
when I got the silver medal and came home from Jamaica, there was no fanfare waiting for me at the airport at Nama Manley. You
wow.
know, with the sports minister showing up there and like, welcome, I'm so proud of you. Here's a shuttle ride back to your home. We didn't
And I,
have that kind of fanfare.
and I have seen a certain athlete from, he is from one country and he competes for another country, and he won a bronze medal at the world championship last year.
Oh
And
yeah.
when he went to his home country, he was treated royally, and he did not compete for his home country.
Wow,
that is
look at that.
that is just amazing.
That's
he did
why,
he did not compete for his home country, but his home country had a celebration
yes.
for him, even though he won that medal for another country.
But you know, the funny thing is, we so love our country that we, despite not having the support that we'd like to have, at least back in my time, I proudly represented Jamaica because I love my country.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I wasn't getting no big money from them or no extra support even after college or anything like that. But I was still coming back home for the trials them and all that, you know,
Yes,
and
yes.
making the teams and all that, you know. I think the Stuttgart World Championship team again as a relay specialist, but I had injury problems, so John
Okay.
Mayer replaced me on that team to go to Stuttgart in the four
Mm-hmm.
by one. I couldn't make it.
Dorothy Scott is saying, Megu, I'm very proud of you and all your
Yeah, man,
achievements.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And she's asking if you're still in Georgia. That's Dorothy
Yes,
Scott.
I'm still in Georgia. I'm in the countryside of Georgia.
Yes, Dorothy, he's in the countryside,
Yeah,
the
I'm in the bush
bush.
part of Georgia.
He's in the bush, Auntie Dorothy.
Uh,
Albert,
away from all the excitement of Atlanta.
you don't like the excitement, do you?
Yeah, I
Lily
don't mind it
Hodges.
sometimes. I like the peace and quiet, even though
Yeah.
over here now it's starting to get busy now because I guess so many people moving here to Georgia.
Development.
Yes.
Until Lilith is saying he has done it all indeed. Much respect, my brother.
Yeah, man.
That's
Thank
from
you, man.
that's
Big
from
up.
Lilith
Big up.
Hodges, yeah.
Big ups to
Uh
you all because you all went through similar circumstances and made it too,
yes.
and succeed despite of
Yeah.
not getting the backings that you would have liked to have. But they should big up themselves too.
Oh yes, man, yes. And trust me, I big them up.
Yeah,
I
man.
yeah, I big
And
them up
I
all the
applaud them
time.
for being back home too,
Yeah.
probably still trying to see how they can get involved. I know a lot of people go back and get involved, like with the high school and so forth, which is good.
And right now there are a group of Olympian women. Miss Auntie Lilith is a part of it. Ruth, Auntie Ruth Simpson is a part of it. Dorothy is a part of it. Miss Vilma. They're doing their thing. They have their charity call Friends of Jamaica Track and Field, where they're
Oh, okay.
giving back to the less fortunate in the not the big school, not the big track and field school, but
Yeah,
schools
the smaller
that
schools
are
then.
struggling.
So funny. I
Yeah.
always say, even with my old high school, I always say, they have some good support system going on there, but you still got the Charlie Mount High School.
Yes.
You got the
School of
Yorkton.
Astafa Powell. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Asaf actually went to Yorkton Primary. Asaf lived in the same area as me. He was like in
Okay.
the unincorporated side of my neighborhood. He was kind
Mm-hmm.
of outside of my neighborhood, but not really part of the neighborhood. But he
Okay.
was
Okay.
walking distance from my house. I knew his father. His brother Donovan came into St. Jago when I was leaving. I think he ended up going to TCU to the Donovan, which was the
Yeah. His brother Donovan was the one that defeated Daniel England his final year at
yes,
Champs in
yes,
that famous race,
yes.
that famous 200-meter
And guess
race.
what? Guess what? I think he had injury problems too, Donovan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Injury, sometimes injury is just a death to your career
Yeah.
sometimes.
He too is an Olympian himself. Osman Dixon is formerly of Jago also. He's saying, do you think your experiences and lessons learned from track and field along with the way along the way helped you in other endeavors?
Of course, first of all, the discipline, the work ethics that I learned from San Diego, and to be focused and never giving up. That helped my man to survive in a foreign country. It's not easy, Everybody think it's easy to make it in America. It's not easy, you know. And if you don't have some kind of background, some kind of life, lessons that teach you how to survive,
Yep.
you know, before you know it, like I was saying earlier, you'll find yourself back home. You can't make it. And some
Yep.
have had to return like that. Can't adjust.
Indeed.
America is not easy,
Nope, it's not. Anybody
despite
say
what
it's
some people think.
easy? Anybody say it's easy? I would love to see what blueprint
Yes,
they are
some
using.
can say it because they make it, in other aspects of, other careers, they might be, doctors or lawyers or something like that, or manage to have a successful business. But it still wasn't easy for them still.
Yeah,
They
indeed,
still have
indeed,
challenges. It might
indeed.
seem easy because they reach a certain level,
Yes.
but it
But
was
the
still hard.
journey, yeah, to get there, to get
Yeah,
there.
man.
Ethelyn Tate is saying we're not former Olympians. Once an Olympian is always
Oh,
an
that's true. 'Cause we're not
Olympian.
dead. We're not dead.
Yeah, I agree with her. Yes, I totally
We're
agree with
alive
you.
still. We're correct. We're once an Olympian, always an Olympian.
Once an Olympian, always an Olympian. Albert Lawrence is saying, brother, you are a hero. And of course, Etlin is saying true word. Janet Strawn is here. Another great show. Hats off to fellow ACU alumni. That's Janet Strawn from the Bahamas. Hello, Janet. How
Yes,
are you?
yes. Big up
Welcome. Welcome.
strong. Big up Janet
Yes,
Strong.
yes,
Bahamas.
man.
We have a tight
Bahamas.
relationship with Bahamas.
Yeah. One of Jamaica's big rivals on the track.
Yeah, man.
Bahamas, yeah, yeah.
You know what though? Maybe the Caribbean should form up like a union. Form up.
But remember, well, you wouldn't remember this, but I've seen it in research. At the 1960 Olympic Games, Jamaica did not go as a country; they go as a team called the British, the British West Indies team that had people from Jamaica, people from Barbados, and from Trinidad. So it was
Oh
Trinidad,
wow.
yeah, Trinidad, Jamaica,
I didn't know
and
that.
Barbados, yes. And they won medal. They won medal.
Sound like
19,
almost like the cricket,
yeah, 1960 games
the
called the
West Indies.
British West Indies. Yeah, 1960.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow,
Yeah.
you really do some serious research and data collection.
Oh yes, I do. I do. I'm not sure why they had the break because we started as a country 1948, but
Right.
1960 we come together as a team, and then of course it didn't last very long because I think what happened based on what I read is that everybody wanted the control, which if the headquarters would be in Jamaica or in Trinidad,
Oh,
and it just kind of never
Tizo.
worked.
But
Yeah.
then
So.
Jamaica became the lead in this area.
Oh yeah,
So track and field, specifically.
Jamaica is the powerhouse in
Yeah,
the
man.
Caribbean and number two in the world,
Little
So
little Jamaica.
yes,
2 million plus people.
little Jamaica. Peter Green is saying, proud of you, Gregory. We are all proud of this man. We are all proud of him.
Yeah, man. Thanks,
From
man.
sports
Appreciate
to
it.
from sports to the military to police officer. This man is
Who would
just
have thought?
yes,
Who would have think that?
yeah.
I know
This
when people hear that I was in the military, they were like, "You, MEGHOO, man, military? Why you didn't get
yeah.
a coaching job?" And you start to hear, "Why you didn't go coach? Well, you have this skill and that. You was a Olympian." I'm like, after a while, they got tired of hearing that.
Yeah,
Like, it's not that easy. Don't think I didn't try.
yeah,
I had to do what I had to do to survive.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes you think that you gain the credentials to get a certain job, and then when you try to get that job, you're asking yourself, why is it so difficult? And I
And,
have the credentials, I have the
yeah.
qualifications. Why is it so difficult? But
And some people is being at the right place at the right time with the right
yeah,
person that was willing to open that door for them and
hmm,
never looking back.
yeah,
Like Mark Elliott, one of our top distant runners from San Diego, he was in a nice program at LSU. He
yeah.
developed there as a coach, and now he's the head coach at Clemson. Right place, right time for some of us.
Yes, indeed, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, indeed. Let me tell you, this is your legacy. It has been written forever. It cannot be unwritten.
Nope, it's in the books.
It is in the books forever and forever. You, I mean, the Olympic Games as a schoolboy, winning a medal as a schoolboy at the Olympic Games. How many people can say they have done
And
that?
not just that, running with the great Donald Quarry, that was my idol. I used to watch that man on documentaries, and there I was running on the same team with the man, the great Donald Quarry. Sometimes I couldn't
Awesome.
believe it. I was like, I can't believe I'm running on the same team with Donald Quarry.
Not just running on the same team with Donald, but you handed over the baton to
Yes,
him.
yes, exactly. And with the two high school boys, because then I'm handing over to him from Albert Lawrence to the great Donald Quarry, and then Donald Quarry is handing over to the next high school guy,
Raymond
Stuart.
Stewart.
You know,
Wow.
to me, that when you look back at it, no, that's kind of historic.
It is. It is. It is. It is.
Because
It,
I've never seen nothing like that again.
it is. And I mean, normally when high schoolers go to championships like these, you might run them in the rounds. But for you guys to actually get into the final, it is a big deal.
Right? And don't think that the coaches weren't thinking, well, we don't know, because it was some word circulating. I don't know if MEGHOO can run the finals, you know. But
Yeah.
the team band together,
Mm-hmm.
me, Albert, Quarry, Stuart, because we were performing, we didn't have no mishaps in the East for them
Mm-hmm.
to say, okay, definitely have to pull Greg MEGHOO because he's just flopping all over the place. We
Mm-hmm.
barely qualified because of him. You know, I did my thing, and we stood together and believed in each other. And the coaches in the end said, "All right, go do your thing." No, I can't tell you the coaches expected us to get a medal. To be honest with you, I don't think they even thought we would have gotten a medal,
Especially from lane one.
especially from lane one. You know what I'm saying? So, and we did it, and
Awesome.
it's something to remember for the rest of my life. So
Yes, yes,
yeah,
you should cherish it. It is a
yeah,
big deal and it is history because a lot of Jamaicans don't even know that you guys won the first sprint relay medal at the Olympic
yeah.
levels from
And to be honest
either
with you,
male or female.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, until you said that, I didn't even know because I thought there were others before us
Mm-mm,
that
mm-mm.
medal in the sprint relay before us.
Nope, that was the first sprint medal at the Olympic
Wow,
level for Jamaica, male and
I did not
female.
know. No, no, that definitely need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, man. Yeah, that's history right
Yeah,
there. Yep.
they
We're
need to put a statue of the 4x1 84 team in the front of the stadium. No, I'm just joking. I'm
I
just
agree with
joking.
you because that's the history making team. Just like how they I think they did something with the 4x4 men team that won the
Oh,
first relay for Jamaica with Mr. Herb, um, Dr. Arthur Wint, Leslie, and George
oh, I
Roden.
did not know that.
Yes, there is a
Where's that
statue.
statue?
There, it's in front of the stadium, but it is supposed to be. It represents those four gentlemen.
Oh, okay,
Yes, it represents all
okay,
four of them. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
The first, and that again is history. Because the thing is that a lot of people might think that our Olympic medal legacy started with the women. It didn't start with the women, it started with the men. Our men won 12 medals before the 1980
Oh,
Olympic
wow,
Games. And
wow, that's a
19,
lot. We're doing our
yeah,
thing that far back.
yes, the men won 12 medals going into 1980 Olympic Games before the women won their first medal with Marlene 1980.
Merlin Ati.
Marlene Otti Page at the time.
Oh yeah, okay, yes, yes.
Marlene was my idol, so I would remember.
Oh yeah, man. I remember shooting the breeze with Merlin at both
Yeah,
Olympics, 84 and 88. I'd
yeah,
go in the room and talk with her. I was so you know, impressed with her, man.
yes,
Like, I was a young athlete, but at the same time admiring them. What I'm saying,
yeah.
being on the team with the Merlin Attis and the Bert
And the
Cameron and
Jackie
the
Marlene and Jackie Pusey were my idols. Those were the women I was hearing about when I was a little girl in the 80s.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and we've been through it all. Know that the new athletes, the new younger athletes are paving the way, having some great successes, and I hope it continues. Because
Yeah.
I sit here and cheer and watch the races, and my heart beating like I'm still running the race. Because especially when it comes to Olympics, you go all the way back in time again. You feel like that competitor again. The
Yeah.
excitement still flow when you see those events.
Indeed, indeed. I'm going to add, we're going to do some quick Q&A before we wrap up. But my first question in the Q&A to you is 1984, 1988, which is more memorable for you?
Of course, that's easy, man. 84.
Yeah.
I won a silver medal on my birthday. You
Yes.
know,
Awesome. 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 What is your nickname?
I don't have a nickname.
Look here, man. Every Jamaican have a nickname, Greg. No bother with that.
No, man, I never had a nickname. They just call me MEGHOO.
Just MEGHOO.
Just
Okay.
MEGHOO. They always call me by my last name. Cause it's so funny. I joined the military and they end up calling me by my last name in the military. They don't refer to nobody by their first name in the military. But in
MEGHOO.
Jamaica, most people call me MEGHOO. My
Yeah.
closest friends call me Greg. So I'm just like Albert. I didn't really have a nickname. I think maybe people
Which
try to give me a nickname, but it never stick.
it never stick. I
Yeah.
think maybe MEGHOO would be the nickname, even though it is your name.
All I remember is people used to say, man, you're one of the fastest cooling man I've ever seen. I remember one of the coaches tell me that. You're the fastest. Come and say, you know what, I'm also, I got some African roots in my team.
Of
Back then
course.
I said, I have black in my team, not just Indian.
Of course. Of course. Of course. Which leg of the 4x1 is your favorite?
Actually, the second leg or the ankle,
Okay.
but the second leg is the leg maybe you don't get as much recognition for. You
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm.
the ankle leg is where all the glories, of course. But I don't mind being a team player. I didn't care as long as we can get the job done and you do your part. But that the second leg, well, that
You
was like
know,
to me the challenging leg. You
you know
know?
which leg, when I'm watching the 4x1, you know which leg I love to watch? The third leg.
Oh
That
yes, yes,
curve. There
yes.
is something about that curve when it has the right curve runner
When you
on
see
it.
them chewing up the leg, somebody can come from
Sweet,
behind and chew up everybody else.
sweet, 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 sweet. And
Yes,
I've seen some Jamaicans run some super third
yes,
leg. I
yes.
tell you,
Sometimes you might mess up on the second leg or the
yeah,
start, and it's
yeah,
that third leg person have to kind of put you back in the game.
Yeah, Johan Blake did that 2012.
Yes, I remember watching that race.
Yes, that
That
world record.
that man went on to some great things. I remember meeting him some years ago when I visit San Diego, and I
Yes,
thought, man, this guy, look
outstanding.
impressive. And then
Yes.
look at it.
Yeah, he walked out of high school right into the professional league and
Yes,
just did it, and that was it. What is
exactly.
your favorite food?
My favorite food to this day, curry chicken and roti, man. I guess that's the Indian side of me.
You're a real
Yeah,
Indian, curry chicken and roti.
yeah, man.
Wow. What is your favorite song or genre of music? Genre of music.
Of course, I love my reggae music still. I grew to love Bob Marley music a lot because it was so, in a way, spiritual. When I was a young boy, I never understood his lyrics, you know. And as
Yeah.
I got older, especially when I was in college, it was some of them Bob Marley music, that got me going, the spiritual vibe of his music. And then seeing how so many Americans listen to his music also made
Mhm.
me feel proud to be a Jamaican. So
Yes, sir.
from the college days, the Bob Marley music was one of my favorite. Of course, I still love some of my reggae dancehall and my neo soul music for my relaxation, my chill music. I like my neo soul,
A
R and
variety.
B, jazz.
A variety. I love that. I
But I
love
love my
that.
reggae. If I hear some reggae pop on, I'm going to be, having a party inside of my own house.
When you look at Jamaica's Olympic legacy, give me your favorite moment. What is your favorite moment of Jamaica's Olympic legacy from 1948 to date?
Well,
Even if you just look at history.
looking at the history, because I was paying attention to the documentaries when I watched the great Herb McKinley and Arthur Wint going at it. Um, and they defeated the great United States, who was deemed unbeatable and all that stuff. That was the beginning of the great moment. But to be
Yes.
honest with you, the greater moment for me was watching Burton and Cameron um, in the semifinals
Yes.
when he pulled up, and I thought the
Mhm.
man stopped run. The man
Yes.
stopped running.
He
He was
stopped
the
about
favorite.
3 times.
I
Yes.
think he could have run a world record that year. The
Yes.
man
Yes.
pulled up and stopped, basically stopped
And
and
made the final.
ran back beyond my belief and qualified, but just couldn't run the finals. And I was so hoping that he could have still run the final. I was
Yeah.
feeling it for him, and I wanted to see him run the finals, but it was not to be.
It's funny that you brought up that race. The first time I saw this race, I saw this clip on TV in Jamaica. The first time I saw this clip, I cried. I could not believe it because I
Yeah,
I don't remember it from 1984. But as I get older, when I first saw it on TV, man, it had tears in my eyes because he
yeah,
so
people cried. People
wanted.
cried, man.
Yeah, man, he so wanted to do it, and he stopped, and then he go again, and he stopped,
Yes.
and he made the
To
final,
me,
and
that's the greatest moment in track history. To me,
yeah,
with all the different athletes who do great things. And I know
mhm,
too many people can be in a race and get a muscle injury like that, stop, and then still run through the pain to come back and qualify. That just show you that, man, that's what I call
yeah,
heart and
yes,
determination. A lot of
yes,
people don't have that.
yes. That's one of the greatest race. I totally
Yeah, I mean, I still am impressed with that race till this day.
yes, yeah.
Every now and
And
then I'll go on YouTube, just when my mind
just
cross
to watch
against it, and
it.
I'll watch it every now and then. You
And
know,
when you watch that final and you see that his lane was empty, his lane
yeah.
was empty. He did
And
not stop.
Alonso Barbers won that race, and I thought, man, it was Alonso Barbers. Yeah, I think, yeah, cause he actually beat Pettigrew. No, not Pettigrew. Antonio McKay. Right, and but Alonso Barbers, who was also an Air Force guy, ended up being the winner
Mhm.
of that gold medal. I don't think he was the favorite either, but he ended up winning the
No,
gold.
he wasn't the favorite. I think Bert was the favorite
No, yeah, well, outside of Burt,
because
yeah,
yeah,
outside
because
of
the
Burt being
commentator,
injured,
yeah, the commentator kept
McKay was the
talking
favorite.
about Bert. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
I think if I remember correctly, McKay was the favorite to win since Burt wasn't there, because he was
right.
like a rival with Bertland.
Hmm.
Alonso Barbers was kind of he was like one of the top guys too, but wasn't expected to win the goal, but he ended up winning the goal. But yeah, it
Awesome,
was
man.
something else
Bert.
to watch that lane because in your heart that he would have won that race.
Oh, yes.
It was a painful loss, man. It's probably one of the most painful losses for any
Yeah,
athletes I've ever seen
yeah.
to not be the best in the world and not be able to run in that race.
To
But that's the
start.
nature of the game. That's the name of the game, sports.
Yeah, yeah. If you were to name a super 4x1 team to turn up at LA 2024, a super 4x1 team, a retired athlete team, who would be your four pick? Well, three with you.
You mean with me involved?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
And three more. And
for Jamaica?
yes, for
Oh,
Jamaica. Retired. We're talking about retired.
retired? Well, shoot.
Yes.
I guess me, Asafa Powell, Raymond Stewart, and I guess both since retired now.
So it would be you, Raymond Stewart, Asafa Powell, and Usain Bolt. That's a good team.
Yeah.
That's a good team. That's a good team. Cool. My next question is I want you to name as many of your 1984 teammates as you can. Let's see how many
I
you
don't
can
I
name.
don't remember them. Let me say I think I remember a guy named I think his name was start with an A.
And I'm
Um
talking about both men and women, everybody.
Men and women. I think I
Which
remember
one?
one guy. That's all I remember. One guy. It start with an A and then a Q and an
One
R.
person you remember from 84
No,
MEGHOO?
no. Let me see what I can name.
Yes.
Albert Lawrence, Raymond
Yes.
Stewart. My teammates, of course, first Dallin Quarry,
Yes.
Raymond Stewart.
Yeah.
Of course, you had Grace Jackson and Ati Cuthbert, Cathy Rattray, um, Norman Edwards, and um, who else was in that race? A couple other guys. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah, this was a big
Augustus
team.
Young, that was from North Carolina. He was American based, but he came back to run for Jamaica. Um, who else was
Oh,
on that
oh,
race?
Gus Young.
Yes,
Mhm.
that young. She was another young person was on there. She was a 400-meter runner, I believe. I forgot her name. Andrea something.
This
Um,
this 1984 team was a big team. You had Albert Lawrence, you had Bert Cameron, you had Cynthia Green, you had Derek Adamson,
yes.
You had Devon Morris, you had
Oh
Dorothy
yes,
Scott,
Devon. How can I forget Devon Morris, man?
yeah, you had Grace
Yes.
Jackson, you had Hilary Oliver, formerly of Veer,
Oh yes.
yeah, you had Andrea Thomas, you had Kathy
Andrea
Rattray,
Thomas. That's what she was young, She was also even I think younger than me, I think,
yeah,
at the
you had
Olympics.
You had Kathy Rathry, you had Dennis Wallace, you had Desmond Morris, you had Donald Quarry, you had Gawain Guy, Gus
Oh
Young,
yeah, Green guy. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
you had Janet Burke, you
Janet
had
Burke. I remember her now too. Yeah, you're
you
bringing
had
up all the memories, man.
Juliet Cuthbert, you had Kenneth Gray, you had Mark Senior, you had Merlene, you had Orville Dwyer, Avril Dwyer Brown. You had Raymond Stewart, of course. You had Sophia Hunter,
Sophia Hunter.
Veronica Finley.
Yes, all those names coming back to me
Yeah,
now.
Carl Smith, Leroy Reed, Marlene Lewis that you spoke about earlier, the late
Yes, yeah. See,
and Norman Edwards, Owen Hamilton, and you had Steve Griffiths and
yeah,
Sandra Former Patrick.
yeah. And see, Martin Lewis was the field event. One of my good friends, when I was at Abilene, in them
Col-
holidays, them
Yeah.
holidays, she used to cook a lot.
Yeah, this was a big team. This 1984 team was a big team.
Yeah, it was a big team.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
big
it
team.
was a big team.
Big team.
Los Angeles.
All right, I'm going to ask you some quick questions now. Let me test your brain.
No, my memory not good like Albert.
Well, we're going to try. We're going to try. Of all your teammates that we just named, which one of them is a six-time Olympian, meaning they've gone to 6 Olympic Games for Jamaica? That's easy.
No, that must be Donald Quarry.
No, man.
That's
Guess
not
again.
Donald Quarry.
No, it's a female.
Oh, so
6 times to the Olympic Games for Jamaica from 1980 to
you
2000.
must be talking Merlin Natty then.
Marlene, six
Yes.
times.
She was my first guess, but I was just
Yeah.
thinking Quarry before her.
Yeah. 6 times for Jamaica and 1 time for Slovenia. 7 times. All right. True or false? Bert Cameron and Kathy Rattray represented Jamaica in the 400 meters at the Olympic Games. Why am I even asking this question?
Well, I
That's
know Kathy
true.
Rocky was an 800-meter runner, but I
She true.
believe she ran 400 from
Yes.
time to time, 4x4. Yeah, so
Mhm.
that would say
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. Next question. Grace Jackson is to the Queen School while Desmond Morris is to which school?
I
Let's
don't
take
remember what college he went to. I don't know what high school he went
just
to.
guess. Just guess which high school. I'm going to give you a clue. Kingston.
Kingston Technical.
Kingston College.
Oh, yeah, he went to Kingston College.
Yeah, Desmond
Oh,
Morris. Yeah. Juliet Cuthbert is to Morant Bay High School, while Hilary Oliver is to which high school?
I don't know.
Very
Here?
technical. Very, yeah,
Oh,
very,
okay.
very. Merlin Otti is to very technical, while Veronica Finley is to which high school? Country, country.
Country.
Yeah.
There again.
Very again. That's a good guess. Very again. Norman Edwards is to Kingston College High School, while Andrea Thomas is to which high school? Country, country.
Oh, country.
Yeah.
No, that one, I don't know what high school she went to.
Yeah, this one is tough. Clarendon College.
Oh, Clarendon. Oh, okay.
And they don't produce a lot of Olympian. Of course, the school of the great Sandy Richards.
Yes, yes, yes.
Marlene Lewis is to Dintil Technical, while Mark Senior is to which high school?
St. Elizabeth
St. Elizabeth Technical is correct.
States.
Stats. Cynthia Green is to Veer Technical. You see how many Olympians from
But it look
Veer?
like you like Veer because you're only picking out the Veer people them. Well, the Jago people them there.
No,
I
no, the
protest
thing is
all
that no,
these
the
Veer
thing is that
people
on this
get
team,
teamed up.
no, on this team, Veer Technical had a lot of
Oh, yeah, man. Just a
yeah,
mess
they
with
had
you.
a lot of athletes on
Yeah.
this team. So Cynthia Green is to Veer, while Desmond Wallace is to which high school? Country, country.
Oh, country. No, Monroe College.
Clarendon
Oh,
College.
Clarendon College. Okay.
Yes. Greg, you are from St. Jago. There's an ongoing debate about which school produced the most Olympians. Which school, in your mind, you think produced the most Olympians?
I want to say St. Jago because we're the oldest school on the island. But I don't know when you talked prior to before on Albert, and you was naming out names. Veer has a lot. Veer might edge us, but I'm going to have to go connect back with my Jago people who are also historians, kind of find out the historian of the group
Don't,
because I
don't
know they
worry, man.
sent out a list.
I am working on the data. I have most of the schools already, but I just have a few more that I cannot find. So as soon as I get that, I'm going to put this
Yeah,
war
I think St.
to
Jago and
rest.
Veer is a tie.
They're very close. San Diego. The top four are Veer, San Diego, Calabar, and KC. But to tell who is number one, number two, number three, I'm working
Yeah,
on
you're
that.
still working on that.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
I still have some missing
I'm
data. So,
curious. I'm curious how the numbers turn out.
oh yes, yes, a lot of people are curious. So I'm putting the data together, and I don't want to put anything inaccurate out there. So
Right.
I'm
Oh,
trying,
understandable. Yes.
right, and I want to give schools their legacy. I don't want to. So I'm just waiting to find. Hubert Lawrence was one of those people who
Oh,
was
yeah, that's right. He would have probably known that, to be honest with you.
he would have known everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And Mr. Ed Barnes, I have to big up Mr. Ed
Oh,
Barnes
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
Mr. Ed Barnes really helped me with a lot of the information, a lot of the schools, and a lot of
Yeah.
the names that I just called. I get a lot of help from a lot of Olympians too, from Mr. Ed Barnes. I get a lot of information from Dorothy Scott. I get information from Yvonne Saunders,
Oh,
Yvonne Saunders, who competed at the Olympic Games for Jamaica and Canada, 1972 and 1976, respectively. She is actually behind the scene
oh,
helping me with the data. And trust me,
wow.
she is finding
Impressive, man.
information. Yes. So
You have a good
hopefully,
team around you.
oh yeah, man, these people are awesome. Awesome. You guys are
You should,
really,
you
really.
should, if you, when you find info like that, you should do like a column in the Jamaica paper, or, sports section or something, print it out and get credit for it too.
Yeah, yeah, for real, for real. 'Cause it is a
Yeah, you are
lot
the
of.
only one I know doing this work.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
And
Yeah.
big up to you too for doing all this, reaching out to us and trying to get our stories, and hopefully others hear it, and it make a
And
difference,
yes,
no matter how small, with somebody, encourage them, they hear the good, the bad.
yes. Indeed, indeed. That is the idea for story like yours and your teammates and others to inspire the younger generation, because believe me, they too are having it hard. They're having it they're having it very, very hard. A lot of them have to be working and trying to train. They come to the Olympic Games and some of them want to quit. The young man that won the not the discus gold medal, because the discus gold medal is actually St. Jago's medal. Stoner, he is
Hmm.
formerly of St. Jago, but the young man that won the bronze medal in the shot put, he was going to quit the sport because it was hard
Oh,
to work and train. And his family said, no, we're going to push you. And he went to the Olympic Games this year and won a well deserving bronze
and to
medal.
piggyback on that, you see, when you have that support, even in Jamaica, with just your family support, that could make a difference, man, with
Yes.
overcoming obstacles. And,
Hmm.
you still hope for more support, but if it wasn't for his family, that's the difference sometimes, when even if you don't have the financial backing, your family just
Hmm.
being there can,
Yes,
can push you to some limits you never thought you could reach.
indeed, indeed.
If
Do
you
you
have the
have,
family support.
yes, yes. Do you have a favorite athlete?
um,
If you don't have any, it's fine. While you think about that, we have some more comments here. Let me see. Let me see the comments. Ethelyn Tate is saying, "Great work, HP." Thank you so much, Olympian Ethelyn. She's saying, "Great interview, Sir MEGHOO. Stay
oh,
blessed."
thank you.
Dorothy saying, "We cried in the stands," and I guess this is related to Bert. When Bert pulled up in that race, she said, we cried in the stands. Albert is saying, only in God we trust. They never give us a chance. Dorothy is saying, he kept telling us he was ready, but he didn't realize how ready he was until that race. Of course, they were trying to answer some of our questions. Ethelyn is saying, Andrea Thomas was 15.
Right. I
She
couldn't
was
remember. I thought she was
15.
maybe 16, but
Wow.
yeah, she was 15.
But you know something? I read something that says Jackie Pusey is the youngest Olympian, because when Jackie made the team 1976, I think, Jackie was 16. So
But
now I'm hearing that Andrea
yeah,
was.
Andrew, I think was either 15 or 16. I can't remember. No, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Yes. She just didn't medal.
Okay, let me see. Ethelyn is saying I left off Dorothy off that team. No, I did not. I did say Dorothy. She did. I did say Dorothy.
Yeah, I thought she
Um,
said Dorothy too, yeah.
yeah, Dorothy. I did call her name because she's right here. No, I did call her name, and but Ethelyn, I'm not seeing you on the 1984 team. Did you compete? Okay, Ethelyn is saying she was on the 1984 team, but the list that I pull is not showing that you
Yeah.
compete.
They might
Ethelyn.
have not updated that list properly.
Okay, so you can correct me, Ethelyn. Let me know if 1984 you did compete, because I'm not seeing you on the
Yeah.
Jamaican
Somebody
for
from the J
Olympic.
train might have dropped that ball.
Yeah, but you're definitely on the 1988 team. Um, Dorothy is saying Jamaica has more medals, but Veer has more female. Are you sure about that, Auntie Dorothy? That Jago has more medals?
Oh, she done some statistics, some
Yeah,
data
but
collection.
when I scan my brain and look at the medals, a lot of the medals came from there. Merlin contributed a lot because Merlin won medal from 1980 to 2000. The only time Merlin did not medal, I think it was it 88?
It might have been 88. She ended up
Yes,
like
but
fourth
she
or something
medaled
like that.
from 1980 come all the way up.
I
And
remember Grace Jackson got second in 88 behind
yes,
Flojo.
Grace
And then
Jackson
I
ran
think,
that
I forgot who
super
got third.
race.
Probably the
Yeah,
Russian or something.
yeah. Grace Jackson won that super race. 1992 when
Yeah, she ran
Cuthbert,
21.6.
yeah, yep.
She make a hell of a
19,
comeback with them long
yeah,
strap.
man. And she was actually behind.
Yes,
She was behind,
she
but
was
those long
actually to
legs.
me coming back on Flojo.
Yes, those long legs. Her
Yes,
finish was, yeah,
in
yeah.
my opinion, anyway, it looked like she was coming back.
Yeah, she was, she
She just
was.
ran out of real estate. That's all.
But remember, Grace is, I don't know how many people knows this, but Grace is a 400-meter runner.
Yeah, I think yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
she's a quarter miler
yeah,
also. She's one of those versatile athletes who ran on the sprint relay and the 4x4 like Jackie and Sharika,
yeah,
so Grace was
yeah, man.
one.
Grace was versatile, man.
Yes, Grace was one of those versatile athletes. Some more comments here. Yes, so I'm going to check those medals because St. Diego, based on what I have so far, St. Diego won their first Olympic medal with your team.
Yeah, 84. Yeah,
84. But I still have some names that I have not put their school to their name. So there's still a little bit
somebody
more
from
work.
Diego. We have a lot of track fans at San Diego who still keep up with everything. So
Yeah.
somebody from Diego might be keeping up beyond Hubert Lawrence.
Yeah, because St. Diego's main medal winners at the Olympic Games is you, Melaine Walker, Johan Blake,
Bertland took us at 88 silver.
Bert Cameron. So it's
Ashmead and all them other younger
oh yes,
guys.
Mikhail Ashmead also.
Um,
Yeah, I think Rika Hilton
some of the
also.
hurdlers. Oh shoot, I forgot
Yeah,
her name.
Melaine Walker
Yeah,
in the
yeah, but even before her, Freeman, I think
Freeman Michelle didn't medal
she didn't
in
medal.
individual. No, not in the
Oh, okay,
individual. No, not in the individual. The
okay.
comments are coming. The comments are okay. Vonnie, who is Yvonne Saunders, she's saying this was an awesome session. Thank you, Mr. MEGHOO. Thank you, HP, for another amazing podcast. Jamaica's
Yeah, man.
legacy.
Thanks for the love. Thanks for the love, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for the love. Thank you. Okay, so Ethelyn is saying she was on the 84 team, but she did not compete. Okay, that is why her name is not on the list because sadly, if you did not compete at the Olympic Games, you're not an Olympian. That's the sad part
Yeah,
about it.
that's the
Yeah.
technicality of it. Yeah, you have to touch
Yes.
the track.
You have to touch that track and start an event
Unfortunately,
to be considered an Olympian.
even
And
though you did the hard work to get there, but injury,
yes,
you
it's
know.
so unfortunate that you do the hard work, make the team, and get there, and when you get there, you're injured. So, like for Bert Cameron, he got injured during race, so
Right.
he's an Olympian,
He's still Olympian because he
right?
made it to the
Because he
semifinals.
competed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he made it to
And
the
a lot,
finals actually, but just couldn't
yeah,
compete.
and a lot of people don't know that you actually have to compete to become an Olympian.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I had
Some
to
people,
correct
yeah.
some people the other day that look, even though you made the team and you went, if you did not touch that track, you are not an Olympian. Just like Sharika Jackson. Sharika Jackson, as it is right now, is a one-time Olympian, which
Oh
was
yeah,
2021, because this year Sharika did not
he
compete. So it
pulled
doesn't
out.
count. This year will not be a part of her legacy. So later
You
on,
see?
after I am gone and people pull in the data, they're
Yeah,
not going to see Sharika's name on the 2024
yeah.
because she did not touch.
And that's what injury does. You
That's
could be
what
the
injury
greatest
does.
for the year and one
Yeah,
injury.
Yeah.
you don't reach Olympic status.
Right. But Shelley, on the other hand, will be known as a five-time Olympian
Oh
because
yeah,
Shelley ran in the heats of the 100 meters,
yes.
even though she was blocked from doing the semifinal and her final. It will still be a part of her
Oh
legacy
yeah.
because she ran in the
She
first
went
row.
on to bigger and greater things after that.
Yes, yes. So, it is so unfortunate that you work so hard for 4 years, you end up at the Olympic Games, but because of some unforeseen circumstances, you will not wear that OLY if you don't repeat.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And that's just the name of the game. It's in all sports.
Yeah.
Not everybody make it to championship level, but they might have great year, competitive season, and then the one big moment fizzle or
Okay.
injury.
Okay. Dorothy's saying, okay, she's saying, I said more male Olympians and Veer has more female. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. I
Oh,
got
okay.
you. I
Yeah,
got
that
you,
might be
Mr.
right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, that
she's
is
probably right about
definitely
that.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is without even checking the data. That is correct. That is correct. Miss Vilma Charlton, who is back here, she's saying Una Morris was 16 years old at the Tokyo Olympic Games when she finished fourth in the 200 meters. No,
Oh,
I know that she finished fourth in the
hmm.
200. I did not know that she was 16. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
so
Wow.
what I see coming out here is that back then we had a lot of student athletes making the Olympic team than
Yeah,
what we're seeing now.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for that information, Auntie Vilma. Thank you. Wow. So I need to make note of those info, and
Right.
this is how I collect my data. She
Part
was
of the data collection. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, this is a part of collecting.
And
Yeah.
nothing wrong with making corrections and all that,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for that, Auntie Vilma. She's saying that she was still in high school. Awesome, awesome.
Okay.
And Grace did everything. Grace did high jump, the hurdles, 100, 400. Grace was versatile.
She could have been an heptathlete.
Yes, she could have indeed. Thank you very much for that, Auntie Dorothy. Let me tell you, we have some versatile athletes, and this is what Champs has done because when you are in Champs, you run multiple events to give your school points. And of course, Grace Jackson won Girls Champs
Oh, yeah.
with the Queen Schools
That's a
1978.
fact.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
ran 4x4 at San Diego too.
yeah, big, 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 big. Grace was the first high jumper. Oh my God, awesome. Information just keep coming out.
Anybody know how high she used to jump?
Well, that's another thing now.
No, no,
Anybody can remember her PB in the high jump? I mean, this is what you talk about versatile. Hurdles, field, sprints, quarter miler. Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome, awesome. And this is why I love these stories because we hear about the athletes and their your journey, the
yeah,
challenges, the friendships that you form, the family, the whole works
yeah,
and things.
man. It's
So with
always nice, to be able to relate back. We're like soldiers, even though we
yes,
don't, not everybody join the military, but we're like gladiators, I think. When we
yes,
step on that track, I'm
indeed,
saying, in front of 100,000 people,
indeed.
millions watching it from home.
Yes.
You're gladiators. You're the top
You're
echelon
in
of,
the arena.
yeah. You're at the highest level. Not
Yes.
everybody makes it.
Yeah, a lot. Let me tell you, so many have come so close. I remember in an interview a few weeks ago, a young lady, she told me she made the Olympic team as a reserve. And she said while she was there, she was hoping that she would have gotten an opportunity to compete to become an Olympian. But of
Yeah,
course,
man.
the top three ahead of her were in top shape. So she did not get
Right.
to touch that track. So you can come so close and still not get
Exactly.
that OLY. So it is a big deal for you guys who have done it. Which parish should claim you as their Olympian? I know which parish, but
For me, yeah, St. Catherine.
I just wanted to hear you
Come
say.
on.
Yeah, yep, yep.
St. Catherine and Yoatan.
Big up to Saint
Hey,
Catherine.
I was the first Olympian before Asafa from Yoatan.
Yes, man. Yes, indeed, indeed. Even before his brother Donovan Powell.
Yes,
Yeah. Yes.
yes.
Wow.
Bring some
Community.
recognition before Asafa. Of course,
Mm,
as soon as Asafa came in, nobody remember that I did it before Asafa.
yes. That's the
Because I Charlie Mount man.
yeah, that's the unfortunate parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't promote our heroes equally.
No, and we need to let them know that the parishes we come from, because some of us come from way out the countryside,
Yes. Yes.
St. Anne's or St. Mary, or you know what I say?
That's another part of my research. And let me tell you, when I look at the parishes, I haven't gathered all the information yet. But when I look at it, let me tell you, man, Kingston and St. Andrew, of course, because they're one. But you see, St. Mary, St. Anne, and Trelawney, trust me, a
Yeah.
lot of our Olympians are from St. Mary, St. Anne, and Trelawney.
Exactly. And it's a big deal, you come from them little countryside way up in the hills of Linstead, Yoatan, Bagwat, St. Mary, St. Thomas, you name it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for the community. You're
Yeah.
like a hero. Because
Yes.
everybody expect the champions to come from Kingston College and Calabar and so forth.
Mhm.
But country schools, lot of talent. Look at her. Look at the great Usain Bolt. Where he
Yeah.
came from? Trelawney.
Trelawney. Veronica Campbell Brown Trelawney.
There you go.
Michael Frater Trelawney.
See?
Dorothy Scott Trelawney.
Everybody don't come from Kingston.
Warren Weir Trelawney.
Exactly.
And I can call more.
I remember, if you don't, when you sometimes meet people from overseas, all them know about is you're from Kingston.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? No, man, you're a town.
Yeah.
Where's that? What's that? Is that a city?
St. Catherine.
St. Catherine. They might know the parishes, some of them, for the well astute ones, but
Yeah, a lot of people they know Spanish Town, they know Portmore, and they know Kingston.
right,
And some will say Montego Bay and they'll try to say Ocho Rios.
right,
Mhm. But
exactly.
but let me tell you, the rural parishes have created some of our most outstanding. And when I say most outstanding, I mean most outstanding, because even Mr. Arthur Wint is not from Kingston. He is from a place called Plowden in Manchester. Don't ask me where that
Oh
is.
wow. I just remember Arthur went from being a doctor at the Linstead Hospital.
Okay. Oh, a lot of people remember him from there, but he is from Plowden in Manchester, came to Kingston, went to Calabar and Excelsior, and the rest is
Yeah.
history. Mhm.
Arthur Wint. I remember him, man. You used to hear about the great Arthur Wint. He's a
Yes.
doctor at the Linstead
Yeah.
Hospital.
He was a pilot too. And
Yeah.
he was a high commissioner for Jamaica. He was an
Oh, no,
ambassador.
that I didn't know.
Yes, it's in his interview that his kids did with him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to go watch that one then.
Yeah, you guys have done some outstanding things, even outside of track and field, where Jamaica can say, Jamaica can be proud. Jamaica can be
Yeah.
proud when
I'm
you
just,
look at our athletes and, you
I'm
know,
just glad to be
and
a part of it. I was glad
see,
to be a part of it.
I got some more information here. Grace Jackson. Okay, we said that already. Audrey Reed is from Trelawney. Audrey Reed, if you're
What?
watching, good night. Audrey Reed went to Wolmer's. She's
Oh,
from
look at that.
Trelawney.
Wow, that's a travel.
That is a travel represented
But didn't
Jamaica.
Wilmers have boarding school? Didn't have like they could board at the school?
Well, Wolmer's is one of the oldest high schools in Jamaica. Well, the
Yeah.
boys' schools. So I figure that they
Yeah, that's a
they
travel. I think Wilmers did she is she on the forum?
no, she's not here right now, but she
Oh,
watched
okay.
she watched sometime, but she's not
Oh, okay. I was
talking. But she
wondering,
went,
maybe.
yeah, but she went to Wolmer's girls.
But look what the things we did to make it in life, man. We travel. I used to travel
Travel.
from Yuatan to go to San Diego. Get
Look
up
at
5 o'clock in the morning so I can get to school by
look
8.
at that. Merlin Otti is from Hanover and ended up at Veer in Clarendon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Merlin is from Hanover, a place
And guess what? We
called.
probably got more Merlin artists hanging right there, talent wait to be discovered in Hanover.
And I want to tell you something with the work research that I'm doing of all the athletes, the outstanding Olympians and world champions and everything that Vera's produced. 90% of them is not from Clarendon. So far, I think the main one that is from Clarendon that I can identify is Lassina Golden Clark.
Oh,
The
okay.
Veer ladies that are on this live, none of them come from Clarendon.
Oh
Dorothy
wow.
is not from Clarendon. Vivienne is not from Clarendon. Etlin is not from Clarendon. They're all from other parishes.
Well, look at
Look,
that.
look at Albert. Albert is from St. Thomas, where he went to school. There.
Yes.
Aileen Bailey is from St. Mary, where she went to school. There.
Wow.
Awesome. Johan Blake is from Montego Bay, St. James. He
Oh,
went.
that's where it's from?
Yes, he's a St.
I don't
James.
know why I thought he was from Spanish Town.
No, Montego Bay side.
Wow.
Yep.
How
Went
would they
to
find you and Blake in Montego Bay, boy? They were
went
doing
St. James. Recruit,
oh, okay.
development,
Yes.
recruit.
Part
Yeah.
of the development thing that they started
Yes.
there.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's just awesome where our athletes are from. And this is why I like to do the research to find out where in Jamaica these athletes are from, because you would be amazed to know that the school that they went to is not the parish that they're from.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing that now. But this is, look at Michael Frater. Michael Frater went to Woolmans. He's from Trelawney.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Wilma's guy,
Yeah.
Trelana.
Yeah.
So Trelana started developing some great athletes,
Yeah,
man.
man.
They
Yes.
started show up
Trelawney
on the
have,
map.
yes, Trelawney have some real good athletes. St. Mary too. Saint Anne have a whole lot. Miss Vilma Charlton is from Saint Anne. Grace
Look at
Jackson
that.
is, Grace Jackson is from Saint Anne. Dion Hemmings, Saint Anne. Sharika Jackson, Saint Anne. So
I would
many.
travel. I would travel to those areas and make those areas famous based on
Yep.
the attendance at those schools.
And look where Miss Vilma went to school. Miss Vilma went to St. Andrew High School.
Oh,
And she's from St. Anne. Grace Jackson went to the Queens, and she's from St. Anne. Awesome,
wow.
amazing. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Oh, Miss Vilma is saying Wolmer's girls had a hostel. Okay, for the girls,
Oh,
but
they call it a
why?
hostel. Okay, okay. I
Yeah,
was saying boarding school or something like that.
yeah,
But yeah, the
yeah,
hostel. Okay.
yeah. Kind of the same kind of
Because they were
boarding.
like a Catholic school, right? Or something?
I don't
Or
know if
maybe
they're
not. Yeah.
Catholic or Baptist. I'm
Oh,
not
oh,
sure.
okay. 'Cause a lot of the high schools are like Christian high schools and stuff. Like St. Diego's related to the Anglican, you know.
Yeah. Yep. But this is just amazing that some of our athletes come from Westmoreland and end up at
Yeah,
Veer Technical. You know,
yeah.
it is amazing.
Wherever you can get into the
Wherever.
school.
And you know something? It worked because
Yeah,
you all get to that level, to the highest level for
yeah.
country. And that it was. Miss Vilma is saying Wolmer's was or is Anglican. They're Anglican.
Oh, the
So
Anglican also. Oh,
you're close. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like St. Diego. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, yep,
I
yep,
know
yep.
St. Catherine High School was Catholic, I think.
But the information, and this is why I like my audience, because when I talk about things, they feed me with information. So now I hope Yvonne Vonnie M, I hope you're making note of all this info that is being shared. I know that Audrey Reed, yeah, I know that she's from Trelawney. She went to Wolmer's. Yep. It is just amazing how you guys and the family support, because you guys, especially a lot of the athletes who migrate from one part to the other, their family trusted the system enough to allow them to go.
Yeah, man. Not like we have family supporting you, man. Because not
Yeah.
every family is supportive like that. Or
Yes.
in the position they want to support, but they sometimes financially they can't. And it's normally outside people step in and become extended families to help
Mhm.
some of these lesser of these, to make it.
There's a little fight going on in the comments here. I think Miss Dorothy is telling Albert that he's not even in the top five, his parish, but St. Thomas has produced. But
Wow.
St. Thomas has produced a lot of outstanding athletes too. Juliet Cuthbert is from St. Thomas. Albert is from St. Thomas.
Yeah,
Hanson
didn't Juliet go to
Parchment.
Morant Bay?
Juliet went to Morant Bay.
Yeah.
Hanson Parchment is also from St. Thomas, and a lot of our new athletes now they are from St. Thomas. So St. Thomas is doing their thing too, man.
Wow. So
Every
that's where they're coming out now. They're coming out of St. Thomas now
St. Thomas, St. Mary, every parish
and
is
Trelawney.
adding their flavor because
Okay, so Yorktown and Linstead got to start step up on bog walk.
yes, down there so need to step up. 'Cause
Yeah,
when you look at St. Mary, you're talking about Jackie Pusey, you're talking
yeah,
about Lily Hodges, you're talking about Nicole Mitchell, you're
yeah,
talking about Roxroy Cato.
yeah.
I mean, there's so
We have
many
to
of
do some
them.
development in that part of the world now, man. We have
Yes,
to balance out the playing field, man.
yes, you are to need to stop up. So
Yeah,
those are all the data that I'm looking at. The parish, the schools that they went to, and it is just amazing looking at
yeah.
the data, and
But big ups to you, HP Track, man. I mean, you're doing your thing, man, and I'm impressed
thank
with
you,
what you're doing. And I
thank you.
appreciate you inviting me on to be a part of this, sharing the experiences. So hopefully somebody's inspired by this, how to overcome and make it and adapt and to survive and all that. So you know that all is not lost when one thing don't go your way. So
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well said, well said, well said. Mr. MEGHOO, Gregory MEGHOO, Olympian, US veteran, police
yeah.
officer, you name it, the
Only
whole
my
world.
closest friends call me Gregory, by the way.
Yeah, nobody calls you
So I
Gregory?
guess you like family now, can you call me Gregory?
Of
But
course.
people
No,
that are
listen,
people that are not as close, Megoo, Megoo. You know?
listen. Once I come into a person's life, I'm there forever. Let those
Yeah,
ladies tell you, let the Olympians tell you that I don't go away. I'm one of those people who don't go away.
right. You show up to the cookout now from there
Yes,
now.
I show up with the cookout and the drink of whatever it may be. I don't go away. And, as I said before, I started this program because I was curious to know you guys. And I'm glad I'm getting the opportunity to live my passion. With that said, I normally give my guest one question to ask me one question. So now that I've said the reason why I start the podcast, you can ask me a question. But before we go there, someone is saying Colin Bradford is from St. Catherine. I think he also went to, is it Vere? I think Colin Bradford also went to Vere.
Okay. Yeah, I think Albert had said something the last time when
Yes,
we talked. Yeah.
yes. So, Auntie Vonnie, please to write down that information for me that Colin is from St. Catherine. I'm just gathering data. Albert is saying, HP, you forget about the great St. Thomas. No, honey, I did not. I did not. St. Thomas, St. Thomas. St. Thomas is on the map. So now I'm going to give Greg his opportunity to ask me one question and then we wrap up for
Oh,
the
one
next week.
question. All right. Were you ever an athlete?
Yes, I was.
In what event?
The 200
What sport?
meters. Track and field, man. Track and
Oh,
field.
track and field.
Yes,
Oh,
track and field. And I was a 200-meter specialist. And of course, I was supposed to attend your school in 1986.
wow.
I
San
got,
Diego?
yes, I got a scholarship to St.
Oh, I believe
Jago.
we had kind of touched on that a little bit,
Yes, I did.
prior
I
to
did.
all
I
this.
did. But,
Yes. The
my,
travel, the
yes,
travels. Yeah.
the travel from Kingston, from
Right.
St. Andrew to over there was,
Yeah, the
and
traveling is a challenge because when
yeah,
I was an athlete at
I was
Jago, I
going
used
to
to,
travel. I was going to board. I went, I toured the facility and everything, and I
oh,
loved it. My coach took me there. I loved it and everything. And, when it was time for me to pack up my things and go, my father was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to school." And he said no. So,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
get that
the
scholarship.
fathers are very protective of them daughters in Jamaica.
Look here, man. to this day, I wonder what my life would have been like if I had gone, because I know that I would have been an Olympian
Yeah, man, you'd have
today.
been at the you'd have made two, at least two
At
minimum
least two,
Olympic team
yeah, at least two, because
and
my
add to our
best
medal count.
listener, of
So we
course,
can beat Vera out in the medal
there
standing.
you go. And the thing is that at that in 1986, my best friend at the time, who she was my main rival in track and field, she was recruited for Veer and she went to Veer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she went to Veer.
Look at that.
So I would go to Champs to watch her. So I kind of have a little attachment to Veer because she went there.
Okay, got you.
So
Yeah, man,
from that
understandable.
time, I started
Understandable.
cheering for Veer
Nothing wrong with
Technical.
that.
But
Nothing wrong with that.
it is what it is. My journey, it was written, and I guess,
And then now you're helping to bring back some of the legacy of
yeah,
forgotten heroes and gladiators of the track and field community.
indeed,
Big ups
indeed.
to you. Big ups to you.
Thank you, Mr. Greg. Thank you, Greg. Dorothy saying, HP, you're too in love with St. Mary, but thanks. Thanks. Okay, my husband is from
Well, yeah,
St.
we're
Mary.
it's set near in Jamaica. Is where's that?
St. Mary.
No, I'm not joking.
St. Mary. Lily would be upset with you for saying that.
All
Yeah,
the St. Mary people know I don't make them mad at me now.
yes, yeah. I like all the, I'm for all the parishes, all the athletes, and because I'm getting to know you guys and know where you're from, I'm learning about the little communities, because I could never make the distinction between Bagwalk and Yuatan. I don't even know which one you reach first when you're coming from
Yeah, you
Kingston.
reach Bagwalk first. Once you come through the river gorge over Flat Bridge, and you go through them roundabout from the river gorge, and then the first city you run into is Bagwalk at the
Okay.
roundabout.
So Yuatan is where? Where you go
Yorton is like
Spur
way up in
Street?
the
No,
like
Spur
after
Street
you
is
pass through
Manchester.
Linstead, then you run into Yorton.
That's
Yep.
Mount Russell when you're going to
Yeah,
Mount
it's
Russell?
closer to the Mount Rasa side. Yeah.
Okay. Got you. And I drive past that place so many times. But inside there, so I call all of there, so the Gorge or Flatbridge.
Yeah. That's what some people refer to it as. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me and Greg. Oh my God, almost 3 hours, and Greg had said
What?
it would be 1 hour. But
No, yeah, it was supposed to be 1 hour.
oh, you
Okay.
see what I told
You
you
owe me
when
some overtime. You owe me some overtime, P.
you see what I told you. I told you that when the conversation is sweet, it can go for hours.
All
And
right, no problem, man. No problem.
Greg, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. And I wish you all the best of luck with you continuing to, the bring up the legacy and cover the sport the way you are right now. So
Thank you. And
best
guys,
of best wishes to you.
thank you very much. And guys, Greg also have a track and field podcast. You guys need to go and check it out. The name of it is, what's the name of it again? Greg? Greg
Yeah,
on
Greg Track and Field Hub.
Greg
MEGHOO Track and Field Hub. I just changed
MEGHOO
the name.
MEGHOO Track and Field Hub.
Yeah,
Guys, you
it's
need
just a little, it's not fancy. It's just I just talk about track and field and talk about results and opinions and talk about, sometimes track and field methodologies and
I love it. I need to come
that
over
kind of
there.
stuff.
I need to come over there one night, and we need to collaborate and have a
Yeah,
live show on
yeah,
both of
yeah.
our
I've never done a
channels.
live show. I just do a recorded summary of it and commentary and just post it. Once
Yeah.
in a while, I've done like a live thing, but
Well,
you
we
know,
need to change it next year for champs. We're going to have to do some collaborating and
all right, we can look into that.
oh yes, 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 yes. So guys, thank you very much, Coach Kino, one Kino. Thanks for hanging out with us,
Come
guys.
on, appreciate
And
all the big ups.
yes, and to all of you guys, thank you very much for being here another night. And the next week, we will do it all over again. And of course, we are ending the season November 28th. And that will be a special, special show. So, guys, thank you very much. Greg, MEGHOO, Mr. MEGHOO. I've been hearing this name for how many years? And look at me tonight
No, you
talking.
can put a face to the name.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, and a
an older
story.
face, but
Yes, and a story. Maya Strawn from the Bahamas. Big up to Maya and
yes, man.
Janet, my Bahamian peeps. Thank you very much. And she's
All right,
saying
Maya. If Maya's still online, I'm still trying to make it to Bahamas one day so I can get together.
she's right there. She's hearing you. She's right there.
Okay.
You heard that, Maya?
Yeah,
He is trying to
yeah,
make his way to the
yeah,
Bahamas.
man. Maya came to Atlanta and we hang out a little bit. So, I'm trying to make it back to Bahamas. I've only been to Bahamas one time, and that was for Carifta.
Wow. Yes, so right now, anyone that we are going Bahamas, Amaya have to go hook way up and thing. I've
Yeah,
never been
man.
to the
I'm
Bahamas.
going to stay right there with Maya. And
Yeah,
she's going to do some cooking again and all that.
what?
Like the old days at Abilene.
Listen. Last week, Maya, let me just share this before I go. Last week, Maya come on the live and she come talk about peas and rice. Please tell her the correct thing for me, Greg.
Oh, my rice and peas, man. But you have to, they look different in Bahamas, so.
Yeah, no, I was just pulling her strings.
Yeah,
I
man,
was
we know.
pulling-
That's what the Americans always say. Can I have
Yes,
some peas and rice?
yes.
And you look at them like rice
Yeah,
and peas, rice
seriously,
and peas.
rice and peas. But guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us and have a great weekend. Have a super, super weekend and be safe. And we will see you next week, same time, but with a different face. Greg, thank you very much. Peace.
All right. Peace and love. All right. Take it easy.
We're running it all the way, we're in the lead. We're running it, finish line is all I see. Get up on, no, don't stop. Future bright, the vibes nice, oh gosh. No time for slow down, just sprint, can't lapse. We walk the talk, just ask me both tracks. So come through, let's talk about it, what you say? Oh. Your girl HP is on her mark, so get set ready.
On your mark, set, go.
Oh yeah, make we chat about it. Oh, what the fastest? Make we chat about it. Oh, run left, make we chat about it. Check and feel at the topic. Oh, make we chat about it. Latest news, make we chat about it. All your views, make we chat about it.
Track and feel chat, I said. With the girl HP.